is that as we begin our conference, that your mighty presence is going to be made manifest in this place. We cannot do without you. Unless your presence goes together with us, things can get messy. But when you come to be with us, then you're going to help us to be organized. You're going to be helping us even to be orderly. You're going to be helping us to have the best out of this 45th conference. Master, we are praying that you may guide our leadership. May you guide our guest speakers, the people that will be facilitating every session, the people that will be doing anything within the presence of this conference. Father, we are praying, may your presence be together with us. And as we come to the end of this conference on Friday, we shall be careful to give you praise. We shall be careful to give you honor. For this is our humble prayer of faith through Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen. May the Lord bless you so much. I want to wish you God's blessings, God's grace and mercies and favor throughout this wonderful conference. Barikiweni sana. Back to you, Bishop Martini, or the MC of the day. Asanteni.
Now, I think, colleagues, I think we are ready to begin our program for the day. I want to begin by saying a very good morning. Good morning again. I want to take this opportunity as one, a member of NEC, and two delegates from Coast Region, to welcome you to this conference, and more so welcome you to Coast Region in general. Now I'm looking at this as a very special conference, because we are holding this conference after a very long period of not doing it, because of the obvious reasons. We know why the situation had to be so, because of Corona. But we want to thank God. We want to thank the Almighty, one, to have enabled us to survive. We know there are very many of our colleagues who could not survive, colleague principals, colleague Kenyans, but we are amongst the lucky ones whom God felt that we should survive. So we have a reason, a very big reason to thank Him. And now that we are here, I want to request that we now begin our program. But just before I get there, I want to request that we stand up and remember the few colleagues that are not with us here, because either because of Corona or any other reason, more so of Corona, who are now have gone to be with the Lord. So kindly, may we stand up and observe a 30 seconds of silence to remember them. Thank you, and you may sit down. May God rest their souls at eternal peace, so that when the time comes and we also join them, we find them in good in good peace. Otherwise, colleagues, we now want to begin our program. I want to believe everybody has a copy of our program and we are able to read. It started on Saturday. That was supposed to be our day 1 through day 2, Sunday yesterday. Now today, the beginning of our conference is our day 2. And all the way up to Friday, day 4. Then we have day 5 up to Friday. And on Wednesday, there is a slight change on the program, and I wish the chairman later will give more details on the change of that program. Otherwise, I think our business today is to embark on what we have agreed to do as per that program, which is day 4, the Monday. Now we have done, I want to believe registration has been done. As you are seated here, I want to believe you have registered. And we have gone through the process of asking the Almighty to bless our conference, to bless our day's program. Thank you, Bwana Mwatine and the group. So our next program is on the sharing of experience. And we felt that there is this, that when we are seated together, like we are, the experiences we go through, the challenges we go through, and we need to hear, what is this from a few colleagues, which is this that we are going through? So we then to get to share, so that we can be able to know what is going on in issues and line of duty. Now, before I invite the chairman to give and come and give his opening remarks in this conference, allow me to give you a few directions. And that's about our hidden places. Now for the gents, there is a blue building behind here. There are very many toilets and very clean toilets there. Please, gents, that is the direction to go in case you need those services. Now for the ladies, in my left, in this direction, we have a pink building. That is where we have the places for our ladies. So please, as you are seated here, in case you need those services, those are the directions to follow. We are saying blue for men and the pink for ladies in my left, that direction. Otherwise, at this juncture, allow me now to call upon our chairman, Bwana Kahi Ndimuli, to come and give us his opening remarks. Karibu our chairman. I think a clap for him. You can see with all the experience, even the walking says that is a chairman. He walks like a chairman. Karibu.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony, Vice Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy New Year. It's good to see you after 2 years. And we want to thank God that we've been able to be here today. Before I say anything, I like dancing.
So I want the band to come and play Kenya Kipenzi Changu. Sindio? Tuchangamke kidogo. We are so dull. Can we clap for ourselves for having come here today? Ken Gomere, where is the band? Hey, where are they? As the band is still sorting themselves, I want to welcome you all to the 45th Kesha Annual National Conference. As it has been our tradition, Kenya Commercial Bank has remained our title sponsors, and we want to thank them for the support they have continued to give us to ensure that this conference and any other program is run. I want to appreciate the other sponsors, mainly our the other sponsors, mainly our Employer Teacher Service Commission, through whom we always get our monthly contribution from members, and they have done so to ensure that our programs continue. Senior partners, the Ministry of Education, Oxford, Mount Kenya University, and National Hospital Insurance Fund, Posta, our bus manufacturers, Scania, Isuzu, our insurers, CIC, and many others who have always been with us despite the challenge that we faced. All of them, I want to thank them. Ladies and gentlemen, as we gather for the 45th Annual National Conference, it comes after a long period of 2 years because of the coronavirus. The virus came and brought everything to a standstill, but the education sector remained steadfast. Despite the fact that our schools were closed, we are happy that the government was able to think and find ways of ensuring that the schools reopen. And Kenya Secondary School Heads Association was represented in very many programs that made decisions to reopen our schools. On your behalf, I represented you on the National Education Return to Schools Committee, COVID-19 committee, that made very important decisions, which we shall be sharing and explaining why those decisions were taken. I represented you also on the task force on education reforms that was chaired by Professor Fatuma Chege, and the decisions that were taken, Kesha stands by them. I know some of the decisions may have been challenging, but we want to thank God that we've been able to weather the storm. And if you read our last magazine, plus the one we have given you this year, you'll see the milestones that we've been able to achieve as principals of schools throughout the corona period. The coronavirus is still there. We still can fall sick, as the Ministry of Health has continued to advise. And that is why, as an association, we have ensured that in those conference documents, you've been provided by a mask, 5 pieces for the 5 days you are going to be here. You've been given a sanitizer. Please sanitize. Please wear your mask. Let us not assume that corona ilikuja ikapita na ikaenda. Bado iko hewani. Si tumeambiwa hivyo? Yeah, so as an association, we want to continue advising our members that we take charge of protecting ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, let me very quickly give you an overview of the program that we are going to go through. We decided that day one today be a day in which we, principals of this country, having weathered the storm, we can just share some experiences across the various regions. We chose this because you are aware one important program that we've been running during this first day, the Principal of the Year and the Teacher of the Year award that has always been done on day one. We are not able to do that now because of the challenges that we've explained. But Kenya Secondary School Heads Association, Executive Committee and the Teacher Service Commission are still discussing and working on how best we can continue with the program and mainstream it in all our activities during teaching and learning. I'm happy to recognize the Teacher Service Commission is well represented even today. I may not ask my seniors to stand, but I just want to make you aware that we have all our directors from the headquarters with us in the room. We have our PA to the chair of the commission with us, and we have our PA to the CEO to the commission with us. The presence of those people definitely indicates the good tidings and the presence of all our seniors during this conference. So I want to ask all of us to be available during all the days, because a lot of information will be shared. So today we shall just listen to our colleagues. How have they weathered the storm? How have they managed issues of corona? How have they managed issues of discipline? Remember at one time our schools were burning, and every day you'd wake up in the morning and when you switch on your TV, you hear another one on fire. So all of us, I remember on our WhatsApp group, everybody was saying, I'm now on the watchtower, watching to see where the fire will come from. Let's clap for ourselves for having maintained those watchtowers and brought the issues of the fires down. So we will hear from our colleagues, some who are really being mentioned. I have in mind my friend at Miranda. I would want to hear how he managed when he brought up an issue of drug testing, continuous drug testing in our schools, and you saw the uproar. I remember defending him several times and saying that is where we should go, because if our athletes are being tested randomly on drugs, and when they are found guilty they are punished, why is it difficult that we should not test our students so that we can put corrective measures? It's not always that we are going to sanction or punish them, but we can find a way of helping our children out of drugs, if indeed they are in our schools. In day two, we will be looking at issues policy, where we will have our peers sharing with us on matters policy and other areas, giving us direction where the education is going. Majorly, we have a challenge on issues of financing of the public education sector. And here we will have a discussion where we want all of you to participate and air your views. On that panel, we will have the Ministry of Education Director General will be with us, Finance Director, the Teacher Service Commission will be with us. To replace me will be the National Chair of the Parents Association, because they are critical players in the financing of education. And to represent all of us is one of our own Chief Principal, Kabianga Boys, Dr. Joa Salo, just to give the experience of the principals on issues funding of education. On Wednesday, we'll be a little bit packed a day, and this is where I want to call upon our sponsors, because of the new development that we've learned that may happen on Wednesday, we may be calling upon some of you who are lined to give their reports on Wednesday. We might call you earlier than Wednesday, beginning today. So if we call you, please accept. Don't say that I'm waiting for Wednesday, my CEO is supposed to come on Wednesday. Please communicate to them that there are new developments that have come up, and Wednesday may be a challenging day for us to manage. So we have to start managing that Wednesday as early as today. We will have the official opening. The program talks about the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Education, to do the official opening. But as I've said, we are getting indicators that there may be another guest to do the official opening. Let me not mention the guest because confirmations are yet to be done. On Thursday will be the day we listen to our employer. Will be the day we are sharing with our employer. Apart from getting remarks from the CEO, we will have all our directors present to be able to respond and discuss with us matters pertaining to the Teacher Service Commission. So as usual, it would be good to give us those concerns early. There are some that we already have, but it will do no harm. If you send us other concerns, we may get something new so that we can share with the directors early enough by Thursday for them to be able to give us their responses. Issues of mental health are becoming a concern. We see in the nation, we read people killing each other. Kama ni maskari, they shoot each other. I don't know, teachers, whether you throw chalk at each other in annoyance, or a duster at a student, or you cane a student to a level of wanting to kill, or even teachers fighting amongst themselves within the staff room. We've read where wengine wamekata wengine na panga. I think I saw something like that on some social media groups. Kweli uongo. Yeah? So issues of mental health are becoming a big challenge. And Kenya Secondary Heads Association has looked around. And I was particularly touched when schools were being burnt. And I asked myself, could this be indiscipline? Or there is something else underlining? Could these students also be suffering from mental health and we are not able to identify? Could we also be suffering? Because when things happen, the first finger is pointed at the principal, isn't it? Mwalimu mkuu hajafanya hii, the principal has not done this, high-handedness of the principal. I look at myself and I notice my hands are always down here. So I don't know when they are that high that people get annoyed, literally speaking. But we are always blamed. The question is, could we equally be having mental challenges? So I took an opportunity to visit Chiromo Group of Hospitals and had a candid discussion with the chair of the group, Dr. Frank Njenga, and we agreed that the group partners with Kesha to be able to assist principals in matters of mental health. They will be doing trainings to principals. We will agree on how best this would be done based on the policies that are there in terms of training and when to train. And we have signed a memorandum of understanding between Kesha and the Chiromo Group of Hospitals. So we will have Dr. Frank Njenga sharing with us on matters mental health and what the hospital will be able to offer. In addition, the group will be offering some scholarships on not really scholarship, but reduced rate. They run a college, a university that deals with matters mental health, and at a reduced rate for principals, they would be able to support us. Details you'll be given, because I believe we must understand matters mental health for our students, for our teachers, and for ourselves. Sometimes I ask myself, I suspend a child and he goes home and comes back. Within 1 week, he repeats the same mistake. Again, I suspend. He comes back. He repeats the same mistake. Then when you ask him, why are you doing this? Anakwambia hata mimi sijui. Mwalimu, I don't know what is happening to me. I just find myself to have done that. So between me and this student, who is mad? The student who is constantly repeating the same mistake, or me who has continually suspended him for the same mistake? So for both of us are mad. But we want to find out, how do you recognize the one who is more mad than the other? Is it me, the principal, or the child? So matters mental health will play a very big role, and Chiromo Group of Hospitals are part of our sponsors, and they have attended. Please visit there. There will be counselors, there will be doctors there to share with you. Still on matters health services, even how we provide them in schools, that is very key. So Thursday, apart from discussing mainly with our employer, big part of it will be spent on issues health, mental, and how we manage our children. Competency-based curriculum. It is now getting into the junior secondary cycle. Many colleagues, as you kept calling me and asking, you are asking, how? What are we expected to do as principals now that these children are coming to junior secondary in the year 2023? What are we supposed to look at? And all these questions, we have invited the Principal Secretary, State Department of Implementation of Curriculum Reforms, Professor Fatuma Chege, to come and share with us details on this. He was the chair of the task force on reforms, the committee, as I told you earlier, I represented you. We will also have the KICD conferences, were county conferences. I did realize that many of us had not gotten an opportunity to look at the basic curriculum framework. It's on the Ministry of Education website. It is on KICD website. There is a link on TSC website that can still take you there. But I realized many of us principals have not had time to read it. And that is why we are having that challenge of what is this that we are going to do at junior secondary. I want to call upon you during this conference to get time to look at that framework before Friday, so that where you have issues that you'd wish to raise, you will be raising them from a point of information. KICD is also here with us. They will be conducting a few interviews to you, principals, give them your views so that they can prepare. We've been asking them, we want to see the curriculum designs so that principals and teachers at secondary level can interrogate them on time before the students come. And then, of course, that Friday, we will be closing the conference. It might close a little later than 1. I want to ask all of us, as we make our travel arrangement, remember, make your travel arrangement after the conference is closed, not before. Because we don't want to close the conference with an empty hall. Si ndio? Tumetoka nyumbani, tumekuja conference, tumalize. So our TSC chair will be able to talk to us and officially close the conference. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we look at our theme, re-examining our future together, a new era of education in Kenya. The new era of education has been brought about by a number of issues. Number one was the pandemic that came. That really exposed our underbelly in the education sector. It made us enter into ways we had not prepared ourselves. I appreciate that many of you were able to organize online classes through Zoom for the students who are preparing for their exams. That was a challenge. ICT, technology became the norm. We want to ask ourselves, how much are we investing in technology to ensure that next time we suffer a shock like that one, we do not close schools and close learning. What happened is we closed our schools and closed learning, so people went home and sat. A few of you were more innovative to engage the children. This should not happen as we move forward. Should there be a shock, let us close the school, but learning must continue. And we are the people to tell government on how learning should continue. But a majority of us keep quiet. We only complain, this should have been done. Bring your ideas through the various fora. And I want to appreciate Teacher Service Commission for having taken up the initiative and recently launched the live streaming of lessons where 10 schools were being reached through two principal schools. I know the pilot has been done, reports are being prepared. I believe during this forum, Teacher Service Commission will be able to share. A new era, because we are transiting from the 844 system of education to an education that is now bringing in issues of competence-based curriculum. Competence-based being a pedagogy approach to the teaching. A new change. How are we prepared? First, as individual principals, because we are the ones that give direction to those boards of management. And, thank you, madam. And how are we preparing our schools? Because we must first understand it as principals. Because if we don't understand, then that school, the sector is lost. Because we play a very critical role. So your idea, my idea, our ideas being put together, then we will be thinking together about the future of our education in Kenya. So I want to call upon you during this 1 week, let us get your ideas. You will be approached even when you are walking with the news reporters. You will be approached at the tent with the KICD. They are taking data. At the tent to the Teacher Service Commission, they will be asking questions. At the tent to the Ministry of Education, they will be waiting to hear your views. Please give your candid and genuine views. When you have the opportunity on the floor, raise, because that is why we are here. If we can't raise them, nobody will know where the shoe pinches us. Sisi ndio tumevaa hiyo kiatu. Sasa kikikufinya kule chini na umenyamaza, your neighbor atajua unaumia? Hatajua. So we must talk. We must talk. I'm happy those who have continued to send issues to me to raise on my behalf. I have appreciated that. So remember, as principal, we must continue being providing the idealized influence to the people, to the teachers below us, to the students, to the parents, and to the nations. We must be inspirational motivator, so that even when people are feeling low, they look up to you and they feel motivated, because you too, despite the challenge, you are motivated to continue working. And let's continue being the intellectual stimulators, making people think about what should be done, making government think the best direction in which we should go. So I want to welcome you all to the 45th annual Kesha annual conference being held at Sheikh Zayed Hall, Mombasa, from the 18th today to the 22nd of April. Now I want to invite the band to sing to us Kenya Kipenzi Changu, because we are in this country, as I hand over to the Master of Ceremony. But allow me just to recognize the presence of the President of the Lesotho Principals Association. They call that country the Kingdom in the Sky. Please just rise. You are the only one I can ask to rise today and wave. That is the president from Lesotho. He'll be joined later by two other presidents from our African countries who have come to grace our occasion. Thank you very much. Feel free and welcome once again. So, Tunisisi Band, who have always been with us during these conferences, for that number. And they can't play when you are seated. So can we all rise? And I cannot be on the stage here alone. Can you join me?
Taifa letu
Wapi sigalagala? Wala watu pigaga. Thank you very much. You can have a seat. As I hand over, I want to recognize the presence of Madam Benta. Madam Benta, the CEO of Kewota, is here with us, can wave. I know she will have a time to greet us. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I now hand over the program to the Master of Ceremony. Karibu.
Thank you, our chairman. A big clap for our chairman. I think he has given us very important information. And our chairman, we are very grateful for the same. Now, before we go to the next session, I want just to stress something. Just one point the chairman has said. We have had this a challenge before. We left our homes, we said we were going for a conference. Please, let us be there up to the end. At times, we really get embarrassed the last day when we have guests and people have left. And remember how we have struggled even to be allowed to come to this conference. So let's avoid to create loopholes so that we even get more challenges when we're organizing for the same. And then two, looking around, I can see most of us, we gave everybody masks. We gave masks, and I can see they are not being used. Particularly those who are in my age group. This age, please get the mask. Corona is still there, and it is still there. We are told it's there to stay. So let us use the mask, please. Now, we want to go to our next session. And this is now the session of sharing experience. Allow me to begin with Nyanza and Western. And the chairman, Migori, will chair this session. So chairman, welcome. And the principal, Miranda, please prepare to come. Karibu Bwana Chairman. As we were to begin this session, kindly can the following come forward. Now, the chair, Nyandarua, Chair Central, Chair Eastern, and the principals, Kitogori, Galagata, something like that, Langalanga in Central, the chair, Tana River, Principal Makueni, Okumu of Nairobi, kindly please just come forward.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take this opportunity, first and foremost, to thank God for the life that we are enjoying today. We last met in 2019, and along the way, so many things have happened. People have lost lives, but here we are, safe, sound, and happy. We are gathering here for our 45th Kesha conference. I want to welcome all of you, and I want to thank you for finding time to come so that we can share as a family. My name is Jacob Mbogo. I'm Kesha Chair, Migori County. We are in the session of sharing experiences. My task is to introduce Dr. Edwin Namachanja. Dr. Namachanja is currently the Chief Principal, Miranda Boys. Dr. Namachanja is married, and he tells me he has 3 sons. He comes. Karibu, karibu daktari. Karibu.
Thank you, our chair. Our chairman, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It gives me great pleasure to be on this stage this morning and to make the first presentation of our conference in sharing experience. I want to appreciate the opportunity accorded to me to share in the challenges that we go through in managing our schools. Allow me to be to the point that I'll make my presentation in 2 forms. One, I'll make a general overview. Then number 2, I'll narrow down the experience that I've had to go through in Miranda maybe in the last few days, and that correlate to maybe a number of us who may have faced similar challenges, and possibly those who have not. It becomes an opportunity for us to learn from it. We do appreciate the fact that the bulk of our learners in our schools are highly disciplined. In my opinion, 95–99% of our learners in our schools are highly disciplined students. They are ready and willing to learn. They are ready and willing to be taught. They are focused. They want to pursue their career paths. They want to achieve their goals of life that they have set with their parents, guardians, and even us as their teachers in schools. They are very keen to utilize the resources and the facilities available in our schools to their good to achieve those dreams. And when such learners combine their effort with the good environment that we strive together with the other stakeholders in our various schools to promote quality teaching and learning, they have always turned very good results. They have always passed, and we celebrate them. And those are the prominent doctors, lawyers, engineers that we see all over in the country. They come from our hands. Those good results we celebrate year in, year out are out of the bulk of the students who are really keen to excel in life. There is a small percentage of our learners who have a different interests in our schools. They come in, some originally with good ideas, then along the way, they lose them. And they change their course. They change their behavior, and they start involving themselves in activities that give us restless lives, sleepless nights, and what the chairman was mentioning, that they keep us on the watchtowers overnight. They are not all the students. 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe a group of 10. What have we witnessed in the recent past? We have witnessed one, burning of our schools, and massive destruction of it, running into millions and millions of shillings from acts of students of the second kind that I've described here. 2, I think this was the latest version of what I saw, again on social media. Students just demanding a walk out of schools. That they are telling you, principal, today we are taking a break and we shall tell you when we are coming back. They want to take control of the programs in school. 3, we have challenges of students who are on drugs, substance and alcohol abuse, and addiction by extension. And that is where possibly I'll come in my second session of my presentation. 4, we have students who exhibit fear for and actually refusal to take exams. They don't want to be tested. They just want to be taught. But when we approach exams or tests, then you get sentiments like they are not happy, they are not comfortable, simply because it's a period or a season for them to be tested or to be evaluated on what they have been taught. They become restless because of that. We have also witnessed, Chairman, that some of our students have carried weapons in schools. I think there was a case of a student in 1 or 2 schools who carried weapons, some panga, some knives, and they're going for teachers' lives. Those are supposed to be learners to be taught, but they're coming in with weapons. My fear is that we may easily get to the western side of it, where we may also have guns with our students soon in school. We have had students threatening, attempting, and even committing suicide in school, out of school. We have cases of occultic behavior, students believing in some supernatural forces and control of events, and they bring it to school, and they believe that they can use it to influence even teachers and how things happen in school. We have the challenge of mobile phones use. This technology that's meant to work for us, but then when in the hands of our students, it turns to be something else. They use it differently. Of course, we know it's an illegal thing in school, but a number of students, once they are in control of this tool, then they use it to promote indiscipline in school, apart from issues of examination malpractices. We also have cases of truancy in school. Truancy as in students just saying they don't want to shave. We're not shaving, we don't want to shave hair. Then what is the reason? No, we don't just want to shave hair. I have experienced that possibly on my side, and I don't know what we have on our side. Little things, and they're saying no. Students just waking up and they're saying, he says he doesn't want to learn anymore. He's tired. He wants to go home. And stops at that. And as we look at these occurrences, I want to turn to my second part of it. And as I do that, I want to reflect on the times we were in schools ourselves who are in this hall at that time. A majority of us will agree with me that the times we went to school, there were times most schools which were boarding were running on generators. And those generators will only operate for limited hours, maybe from around 6:30, 6:45, then by 9, the generators stand off, and that's it until the following day. And those students who are then keen, whom I believe those of us who are here, that's how we managed to pass the exams, we used to carry lanterns to school, we used to carry paraffin to school, we used to carry matchboxes to school, and at no time did we ever think that we can burn our schools. Yet we had kerosene with us in our hostels, we had matchboxes with us in those dormitories, and in large volumes. I remember myself, I used to carry 5 liters every time. At the beginning of every term, I'll ask my parent on my shopping list, 5 liters of paraffin. That will last me the whole term. So if you took that with a population of about 400 students, and just assume that there are only, say, 200 who have carried 5 liters of paraffin, how many liters do we have in school? 200 each carrying 5 liters. That's over 1,000 liters of kerosene in school. But we never thought about it. What has happened with our youth today, our students that we have in our school, that they go beyond. Even when they did not have access to these in school, they go all the way to stretch and bring them into school and use any other method to make sure that they are burning our school. These are issues that we really have to ask ourselves, what has happened? And allow me then at that point to share briefly some story about my school. Last year, second term, and all of us, I'm sure, we read and followed the story of Miranda when it hit the headlines. Miranda is on fire, Miranda again. I want to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, that the school was very peaceful, very calm, all programs running very smoothly, and very focused, all Form 4s psyched, all the students psyched, and we are saying we are ready to go, and we are focusing on a better performance than what we had achieved in the previous year. Staff committed, we are there around working around the clock. Then we get some writing in a toilet. Of course, the burning had begun. We are also going to burn. We erase, we white it out. After 1-2 days, again, we are going to burn. We white it out, we intensify our patrol, and so on. We start that intelligence within school. And every student saying, no, I'm not aware. I have no idea. The prefects have no idea. We follow through, and at some point, we get more convinced that it's not the entire school. We hold a barasa with the entire school and ask them whether they have problems. And we tell them, if you have a problem, you do not have to bring down all this that all the stakeholders of the school over years have had to build. Come out clear, tell us what the issue is, then we shall be able to deal with it, and we don't have to go the direction. Then what you hear next time, some true, others false. They're saying, if this school has banned, then we also ban. Such a school have gone home, who are we to remain in school? So we also have to ban and go. So they are writing continuously. Until I got tired of painting the normal paint and painted all the toilets black in the school with a black paint so that they did not write with the whatever they are using. But now when I painted black, They are very creative. They now started scratching. Because it's black, they go in with a pointed, even a stone, and now scratch. It comes out again. They are still able to write. So, in the midst of one evening, at the end of prep, the transition moment, on I think the 6th of November, end of prep, the juniors end at 9, the seniors at 10. So the juniors had finished their prep, and the seniors were still on. I was in office at just about 9, then somehow I said, okay, let me go and watch news from the house, the 9 o'clock news. So I walked to the house and sit there. The school is calm. I left even the teachers on duty, the deputies are there. Then I said, let me go to the house. In a short while, I hear some noise. Then I thought, that time, also maybe the Form 4s are now coming out. But then the noise grows and grows and grows. It becomes bigger and louder. So I had to jump out of the house. I get hold of a torch. And as I get out, I get a call from the deputy saying one dormitory is burning. We ran there. In a moment, the fire is all over. We struggle, but we don't manage. One thing that made me to think that, again, qualifying my question, that not all students, all the other students are able to cooperate and follow instructions. When you tell them to move the safety point where they are required to be, they all move out as we struggle to fight the fire and all that. They cooperate, they don't throw any stone, they are not shouting, they are not doing anything. They cooperate 100%. It happens, and at the end of the day, we follow through the CCTVs and we get hold of the students who were around that place and even coming out of that dormitory a few minutes before it goes on fire. They become our main suspects, and in our interrogation, they actually agree, and they even write statements and say, it's us who did it. So, of course, what follows is not necessary. But when that happens, we say we hand over the police. And Chairman, this is something that I want to ask that we need to follow up. When it goes to court, we lost that case. The reason is that they did not have or did not write that confession in the process, in the presence of an advocate or their parents. That confession has to be done in the presence of either the parent or an advocate. Where in school do you get an advocate at that hour for the student to witness before? Where do you get the parent at that hour to be able to witness? And I didn't even know that that's a requirement until when we were in court and we were being dismissed. The ground was that the confession was not done in the presence of the parent or the advocate. So the case was thrown out, the loss was made. After the first incident, then we had the second. When they were coming back after the first case, we did involve the police unit, police department, to do, using the sniffer dogs, to check on drugs. Students coming in were just suspicious, and we thought maybe it's good to test and check that. As they came in, the students are very keen, or maybe we made a mistake, that at the entrance, the school gates, the first checkpoint was the police dogs, where you put down your luggage, the way the dogs will come and sniff around, and if there's anything, they'll indicate. What was interesting was that we didn't get anything. during the day. But later in the day, after the exercise and the students are now in school, I just told the police officers to try and go around the school fence. And you know what happened? A lot of bang stuffed and dropped around the fence, meaning that they would then come back to pick. They knew we were checking at the gate, but then they dropped along the fence, and they'll come to pull it in at some point. We did our best to readmit the students after, I think, about 2 weeks. They came back, and when they came back, we went through the processes and we began our programs. But it became something interesting that since the first time, the students who are responsible in our investigations were Form 4s. Now, some boys were saying and writing to the wall again, it's the turn for Form 3s. We're now waiting for Form 3s. Form 3s, can you do something? We need to go home. Now, they ignite some debate again in the same toilets. Form 3s, we are waiting for you. Then it's not happening, then they write there, Form 3s are cowards. Then say, Form 2s, we are taking over. We are going home. They start writing. Going home on Saturday. We're going home on this day. So we stepped up our watch all around, left and right, knowing what had happened previously, and the trend has been this burning occurs mostly at night. So we had even night vigilante from the staff, together with the watchmen, and we even reinforced with the police supporting us to manage the transition from class to dormitory, dormitory to class, moving all the students at the same time. But we still got those warnings. I kept on alerting the directors, there's this warning, there's this warning. And at some point, again on a Sunday, after we had had a service, a good service, very lively, which I attended, we finished the service, then they go to take their tea, because now they are all moving in blocks. We are not leaving any one student on one side. Even their prep was now ending at the same time. They all wake up at the same time. They go to the boarding section at the same time, tuition section at the same time. So we knew we are marking them very well. Then after service, they go to take their tea. We know that they are all taking tea. Then again, I walk to the house. That's around, we do our service a little early, from 7 to 9 a.m. So after the service, a few of the visitors who are in the church and so on, we finish. So I went to the house around 10. Then, while at the house, again, I hear some noise. Some noise, which escalates, moves, then again jump out. When I jump out, I see smoke coming out of the biggest dormitory of the school. It's on fire. Starting to run for help, left, right, and center. We couldn't manage to save it. The second floor, all of it came down. And again, we went back to our technology, we went to our CCTVs, and we got the boys again who are running out of that dormitory. And one other boy who was able to see them also confirmed that he saw them, 3 boys. And we narrowed down on them, and they said, let us tell you the truth, it's us who did it. And they went now to the details of how they did it, and which was disappointing. That at night, on Saturday night, after they're in prep, between 1 and 2 was the hour when they wanted to burn that dormitory, when everyone was dead asleep. They went up into the ceiling of the second floor where it's roofed. Using the inspection chamber, they put in the mattresses, put in some blankets, and with their matchbox, which they had sneaked into school through the fence, through somebody they knew out, they struck that matchbox, they said 6 times, and it didn't light the blankets and the mattresses. And they told each other, the gods have refused. We should not kill our friends. Let's abandon it and do it some other time. So you can imagine what will have happened at 2 a.m. if that building went on fire. So the following day, Sunday, after the service, that's how easily they did it, that they already set the stage in the chamber. So while others were going, picking their cups and go to take their tea, then they had the easy option of getting into the ceiling, lit it, and then came down. So by the time we were sensing the smoke coming out, the building was already on fire, and it was difficult to manage. That's how it happened. And now the lessons we draw from this is when we follow the 3 students who are main suspects, they open up and they tell us the story that indeed they're the ones who did it. When you tell them what is the reason, we just wanted to burn the school. Why are you burning the school? No, we just wanted to burn so that we all go home. If you want to go home, why can't you go alone? Here, no, we wanted the whole school to close because they have gone for the biggest building and they know definitely it will affect the school operations, so you cannot manage. One student again, of the 3, they confess and tell us that they have been in drugs. One of them, the main boy who struck the matchbox last time 6 times, and this time he succeeded, says he started using drugs when he was in class 7 in primary school. And he said he began on bang, which is the low level. Then he moved to heroin, and at that point, he was doing cocaine. He was doing cocaine. And he doesn't value anything. He doesn't even go to church. When you ask him, what about the school? He says, yes, I just come to sit in. But I don't follow anything. I don't read a Bible. Even at home, nothing. I don't do it. And that informs a decision that we reached at some point to walk in the direction that has not been taken before as a school. Who or under what influence are our students acting? All this that I've mentioned, with even others that I may not have talked about here, we are not quite sure how the status of our students, the mental status of our students, even the health status, out of the things they consume. From the confession of that student, which again, Chair, I want to report that we even had to record that. We were careful. Having lost the first case, now we scaled it and we even recorded. Now that we had the video, the clip from the CCTV, showing him from the room, that building, where he does not stay, at the hour when it was burning. He has confessed and we have recorded. We put them together and we take to the court. We still lost that case. It was not before an advocate, and it was not with or before the parent. The parent was not there, the advocate was not there. So the child cannot be held account of what he was saying independently because of his age. And that's something we have to challenge. And my opinion, my recommendation, Chair, will be that we need possibly to request the ministry to hand over the rights of parenthood and guardianship to us principals the moment students are in school. The students are our students. The right of guardianship and parenthood is transferred to principals as soon as students open and step into school, so that we are fully responsible. Whatever we hold account is true of those particular students. That second case we also lost on that ground. The judge stood his ground and said no. Yes, we have this confession, we have seen the CCTV, but there was no advocate, there was no parent, so you lose it. From that, we then decided to say, as a school, we walk a direction that no one has taken. It's not even in the laws, and we'll do some procedure that possibly will be acceptable. I know when we came out that we were going to do the drug test on all our students coming back to school, there was a bit of the uproar, but if you are keen, you realize that there was no fight back over it, because we took a procedure which I think helped us and can still help us going forward. That we had several stakeholders meetings and we discussed this, and we felt like most of our students could be, not most, a few of these errant students who are causing us trouble are acting out of influence. So it's good for us to check, and for every parent to check his or her son, the status on drugs. So we gave parents a leeway, but we recommended the government chemist for those tests, and every student to bring those results to school. And for us at school, we are only able to do random tests to cross-check whatever the parents were giving us and what we are getting from our school on our side. Our random tests will be done, and we are doing at two levels, one at the class. So we don't want to victimize. We don't want to hold any student to be a suspect. We just say if it's from 3 blue, we are testing all from 3 blue. Then from 2 white, from 4 yellow, from 2 or from 1 green. All of them in those classes are tested now from our side. Then we go to one of the dormitory or 2 and say, this dormitory, we are sampling all of them. We're testing this class, we're testing this dormitory. We get the results. But then those results are not to be used in any punitive way, but for information so that we know the status of the students. Even after the results, the tests were done, I'm sure you have not heard anybody talk about it. It's like nothing happened because we control it and hold it in a confidential way. We know this student has this challenge, so we must help him. We must help to manage him. We share with the parent, shares with us, we bring in counselors. And at that point, I also want to say that we then went in to bring on board NACADA, who came to school. We had sessions, open sessions with the students. They shared with the students. Students raised 1,000,001 questions about issues of drugs. Why, and they think they are in drugs, why they're using those drugs, why they value them and they want to have them. A lot of myths about those drugs. So they did a first session. The students did make a demand at the end of this first session that they must come back, meaning they have a problem. They came back a second day. Again, we had a whole day, because the first time they came at 4. So we did about 1.5 sessions. The students felt like it was not adequate. We require more time. So we gave them a Saturday. They came in at 9, and we pulled through all the way up to 3, from 9 to 3 p.m. Students asking, and then they also had counselors, and they had sessions with them, sharing and so on, which we found to be very, very useful. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how it went at our school. And as I say that, it's not like all the students are a problem. Again, I want to emphasize 1 or 2, 3% of our students are the ones giving us a problem. When we brought this issue to the parents in the forum we were having, and they saw the confession of the boy talking about these drugs and how he had done this. They felt, no, it's good for us to test our sons so that we know the status of our parents. One of the parents never believed the son was in drugs. He denied. When we invited him to school, he said, we are victimizing his son. He was very harsh on me. And I said, no, just sit back. For a minute, we're going to share this. So I invited the deputy and 2 other members of the disciplinary committee, and we took him through what the boy has been doing. He denied 100% and said his son can never, that he can never allow something, not even a cigarette, because the boy was saying he uses a bang, but he's saying that thing can never step in his compound. Then we said, okay, hold on, let's bring you a son. We brought in the son, and we asked the son, tell us what you use. He says, I use bang. When did you start? In class 6. How did you start? He told us a workman they were staying with in the home was using it. Is the one who introduced him. And from that time he has been using. How have you been getting your supplies? That common border rider whom we use to send on the market, go and bring us this, go and bring us this. I also give him something, he delivers for me at home. I have my constant supply. Where do you do it? In the evening, when I walk around the compound, they call it what? That roll, just a half of it. While I'm walking around the compound, then I come back to the house. The father never talked. He just sank in the chair, and I almost thought he was dying. He never talked. When he left, he was a sick man. This is where we are, and as I conclude, my 2 appeals and recommendations will be one, which I already alluded to, that these parental and guardian rights should be given to principals once schools open, so that we're in charge of the students absolutely. Number 2, that we have to really now use technology and science in managing our discipline. The level where the students are, they're high-tech. So even us as principals, we also have to go high-tech in the management of discipline within our schools. If we are left behind, then these boys and girls are going to run ahead of us, and we're not going to manage them. Overall, I want to emphasize that 96% of our learners are very good. 2-3% are problem, and they cause havoc for them. They have lost focus, they have no interest in school, and they are there simply because possibly their parents insist, or maybe our 100% transition pushing them to remain in school, but their interest is elsewhere. I believe if we do this, then it may help us and we are able to move forward. Thank you very much for listening to me, and God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to believe that now you understand what it takes to be a principal at this point in time. Dr. Namachanja, we want to appreciate you. Your presentation was very educative, captivating, and at times very painful. That is where we are. And we thank Daktari for opening up this to us. We now know what we need to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being quiet and keen, listening to Daktari presenting. Allow me to invite our Master of Ceremony to invite the next presenter. Thank you, and God bless you.
Now, thank you, Rimigori. A clap of brothers from Nyanza and Western. Now, allow me to manage this program. Because of time, we had decided, we had agreed 2 per region. Now, we want to go 1 per the 2 regions. And then kindly, we're only allowing 10 minutes for now. For the remaining 3. So I hope you have allowed me to that one. Sindio? Am I allowed to that? Yes. So now, if that is agreed, then allow me to call upon, we now come to the Rift Valley and the Central Group 1. And this is now the chair Mranga. Madam, where are you? Karibu. Then she'll tell us who she has invited.
Thank you, our Vice Chairperson. My name is Esther Wambugo, Chairperson, Langalanga County. The next person who is going to share experience is Mrs. Rufina Nikonge. Madam is the principal, Langalanga Secondary School, Nakuru County. She has been a principal for 5 years. This school is a sub-county school, getting the students from the slums of Nakuru. It is a day mixed secondary school. One thing that is quite eye-catching is that this school, the last examination, it had a mini score of 7.4. A sub-county school. I think she requires a clap, even before you see her. With a total candidature of 275 students. I think all of us principals, we would want to hear the magic that is being done in Langalanga Day, that is making Madam have almost 100% transition to the university. Madam is married to one gentleman, and she has told me she's not willing to get married to another one. Even when Christ come back, she's a wife to Mr. Nikonge and a mother to 3 young adults. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Madam Nikonge to share us the experience. Karibu, Madam.
Good morning, colleagues. Like it has rightly been said, I'm Mrs. Rufina Nikonge. What she didn't mention is that I'm born-again Christian. Yes, I'm the principal, Langalanga Secondary School in Nakuru County, Nakuru East Sub-County. Langalanga Secondary School is a mixed day school, purely day, and for that reason, it is a sub-county school. Currently, we have a population of 1,416 students, and the results that we are waiting, I have 295 candidates. Now, Langalanga Secondary School, if I just may share, she's talked of magic. I don't know whether it is magic, but they're just simple things that we do that are done by all of us where we are. Just maybe to mention, there's nothing unique about Langalanga Secondary School. First, it's entry behavior. I have average of 250 to 320 KCP marks. In fact, right now, I've been given 387 Form 1 students, and they range from 320 marks to 149. So that is the entry behavior of Langalanga. For the last, if I can say, 4 or so years, like in 2017, we had a mean of 6.30. 2018, we had a mean of 7.0. 2019, we had a mean of 7.5. And 2020, that is the last year KCSE, we had a mean of 7.48, without failing to mention that it is the year where we were all affected by COVID-19 issues. Now, I would attribute this performance to the diligence and commitment of the staff that I have. I have a staff of 45 TSC teachers and 2 BOM teachers. And I'll say that these teachers are committed despite of the varying ages, because I have the young and the old. The young, I want to believe we can share experience with the young, and the old also, who probably may feel that we've been here longer, but somehow we've been able to manage to forge a team, and therefore I have a very strong team spirit in Langalanga. And being a day school, we have the challenge of the time that we get to school and when we leave. But I'll say that these teachers get to school quite early, just for consultation, And of course, being a day school, we only have a lunch program that the students pay 4,000 per term. But the catchment of the students in Langalanga, it is from the informal settlements of Nakuru. That is the slums. You've heard of Kaptemboa, Roda. That is where our students come from. And I'll say again, together with that, having realized that they can make it in a day school, these students have self-drive. And therefore, we have embraced the MBR, that is movement by running in the school. And we have also come up with, away from the guidance and counseling family unit, we have academic mentorship, whereby a teacher is allocated 5 to 7 students. Thank you. So during COVID, there were those challenges of pregnancy and all that. I had 3 candidates that had that. And in my population, the students, they come from the slums. You've heard of the gangs in Nakuru, confirm. I have them. I have those students that register and only come to sit for exam, including this year. I have them. Apparently, I don't know how, but we have maintained the students so that even the transition, the completion, we have 100%. I do classes of 70, 74, 65, 69, the least. So with all those challenges of boda, around there with the girls, coupling, drugs, those issues are there. They are there. But we talk to them in these family units. That's what I wanted to highlight. In these family units, that's where we are able to reach them. So that when I'm slotted, like I have 5 family units, when I'm slotted those 5 students, I handle everything, not just academically, but even home issues. Because again, we have dysfunctioning families, many single parents in this school. Some are just doing these hardy jobs of just washing clothes to pay that 4,000 shillings per term. So all those challenges notwithstanding, students have realized that they can make it to the university and they can get out of the slum area and get to levels where they are able to compete competitively in the society, and that has given them that sort of self-drive. That is what I can say, it's a magic. So that there is very good rapport between these teachers because of the family unit. So the teacher is able to access these students and you own them. They are your children. So you own them. You are able to follow their discipline. You are able to follow their performance and all that, so that at the end of the day, we are able to help them come out as an all-round student. Of course, not that we will not have those other challenges. We have them that will drop out, but very rarely, very rarely. And the gangs, it's such an issue. So we do impromptu checks. You will get those drugs, you will get daggers, but the police come in and the sub-county come in to assist in those issues, so that when it is criminal, it is handled we are very close to Kasarani Police Station and Central Police Station in Nakuru and Bondeni. So we are able to work with the police and the chiefs so that we are able to maintain that discipline. But colleagues, I will tell you, it is about talking. A lot of engaging those students, allowing them to speak. Some will come, like I tell teachers, when they come late in the morning, before you can even handle that student, get to know. And you realize some have very dire challenges. But colleagues, those are the students that we have at Langalanga, and those are the students that we are trying to bring them to somewhere where they can feel that they belong to the society. I think I've mentioned literally everything that I needed to say, especially with the catchment, with the challenges that we have. If it is that finances, it is so challenging. Some of them, even to pay that 4,000 is a problem. That is the only one meal that they have in a day. But we have tried through bursaries, and somehow we manage. But colleagues, probably that is the magic that we have at Langalanga. And I want to appreciate that I've been given this opportunity to share the little that we are able to do at Langalanga. Thank you for listening to me.
Asante sana, Madam Nikonge. Time is not on our side, and therefore I want to introduce the next session chair. That is Madam Grace Kenya, Chairperson Nyandarua. Karibu, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Esther. My name is, as said, Madam Grace Kenya, Principal Magomano Girls, and the Chair, Nyandarua County. I wish to introduce the next speaker, who is the Senior Principal, Mungatana Thomas Wenyama. He happens to be the Chair, Tana River County. He is the Principal of Irimani Secondary School in Mbura, Tana. He is a graduate, a teacher of English and literature. He tells me he's married, one wife, 5 children, and he's telling me that by the end of this year, by the end of this month, he's going to be a grandfather. And he is very expectant. And I now wish to ask all of us to clap for our speaker as he comes to talk to us. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Karibu.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam, for that introduction. Colleague principals, as you have heard, I'm Mungatana Thomas Weyama. Mungatana can only be found in one county in Kenya, and that is the Tana River County, where I was born and bred, and where I went to school, and where I'm currently the Kesha chairman or chairperson and the principal of Hirimani Secondary School. I've come here to represent Coast Region, to give experiences, and because I work and live in Tana River County, I will say more about Tana River County. Usually when we hear about Coast Region, we think about Mombasa, the nice beaches, the Indian Ocean, the ferries, the Ukunda areas, the Kilifi, and such like places. But today I want to talk to you about another area of Coast Region that is not very familiar with most of honorable members seated here, and that is the far north of Coast, where we have Tana River County. Tana River County is one of the, among the 5 largest counties in Kenya in terms of land, in terms of vastness, and Tana River County borders Garissa County, it borders Meru County, it borders Kitui County, it borders Lamu County, it borders Kilifi County. That is how vast it is. Tana River County, if you travel end to end, you may not reach the same day. You may have to sleep somewhere along the way to reach your destination the following day. Not because the roads are bad, the roads have improved, they are very okay, but because it is vast. It is really, really vast. From our farthest secondary school, coming from Mwingi, the first secondary school is called Bangale Secondary School. If you travel from Bangale Secondary School to our next secondary school, that is Madogo Secondary School, that is around 80 kilometers. In fact, 90 kilometers, the next one. Then from Madogo Secondary School to the next secondary school, that is in Bura, Hirimani Secondary School, where I'm principal, that is 100 kilometers. And from Bura to the county headquarters, Hola, where we have Hola Boys and Mau Mau Memorial Secondary School, that is another 60 kilometers. And from Hola to Gariseni, the headquarters of Gariseni constituency, where we have Gariseni High School, that is 100 kilometers again. So you can imagine, and from there to Kipini, probably another 100. So that's why I was saying, and that is not the end of it. On this other far end, we have another school that is closest to Malindi, but that is also another like 50 kilometers from Gariseni. So when I say Tana River County is vast, that is how vast it is, and the schools are far-flung, very long distances. Tana River County enjoys delocalization. What do I mean? Most of the principals and teachers in Tana River County are already delocalized because around 80% of the teachers in Tana River County come from up country, around 80%. And over 60% of the principals also come from up country. They don't come from within Tana River County. Now, Tana River County has its, of course, it is a hardship area. It has its share of problems, high temperatures, very little rainfall, and all that. But there are also good things about Tana River County. That is why many teachers, many principals now find it very comfortable to come and work in Tana River County. So I want to give you a very brief overview of Tana River County, so that if you find yourself delocalized to Tana River County, you should not shy away from that place and run away from that place. One of the good things about Tana River County is that the communities around are very receptive to visitors. Of course, that is one of the characteristics of Coast Region, very welcoming. So you need not fear that if I arrive in Tana River County, I'll meet very hostile people. No, it is not true. Those who are there can attest to that fact. And Tana River County has a lot of land. In fact, our schools have no land issues, and our schools do not even have title deeds. Because when you want to start a new school, the villagers will just go and stand somewhere and ask you, Bwana Principal, you want up to where? Bwana Principal, you want land up to where? From where we are standing here. You want up to? So it is up to you, Bwana Principal, to walk with them until where you stop and tell them, okay, I think this one is okay. That is one good thing about Tana River. We don't have land issues. We have a lot of land. Like honestly, my school has 200 acres of school farm only. Shamba ya shule, 200 acres. Yeah? And many other. Of course, the staff area is 20 acres for staff houses. Yeah? And such like things. That is Tana River for you. The good things about Tana River. The good thing about Tana River is that when you are a principal, you are posted to Tana River, and you want land. Yeah? You want land. Your headman will just walk with you somewhere and ask you, Mwalimu, are you comfortable with these 10 acres? And that is farming land, by the way. Sio land hivi, land ya kulima ni ile iko karibu na River Tana, next to River Tana. Some of our colleagues who are currently in Tana River, wamekuwa wenyeji huko, wamepata land, wanalima, wamejenga. They don't even want to leave that place. That is the good story about Tana River County. During this very difficult period, we had our experiences in Tana River with Corona. One of them is that Tana River is host to both farmers and pastoralists. The main occupants of Tana River County are the Pokomo, who are mainly farmers, and then the Orma, and a Somali-speaking group that is called Wardei. Those are the main groups of Tana River County. So because of that, the Orma and the Wardei are pastoralists. And so during the Corona period, we were faced with very different situations. One is that it was very difficult to connect with the students during the Corona period. While other places in Kenya, people were using technology to connect with their learners and continue having classes, there it was difficult because of these learners who go herding. You know, they're at home, there is nothing to do. What do? they go herding, and herding is not in town. Herding is done deep, deep inside the forests of Tana River, where it is very difficult to connect with the students, even by phone. So, though we tried, we were able to connect with the students who could be available, who could be contacted, but for the most part, it was difficult to connect with the learners who are pastoralists, and they had nothing to do at home. They were helping their parents herding the cows. That is one disadvantage we had. And when schools reopened, we had all manners of problems. So when schools reopened, we had all manner of problems, just like any other part of Kenya. Because of our cultural diversity, many of our girls had gotten married during that period, and many others were pregnant, just like any other part of Kenya. And so we had a problem to deal with. And it was unique because at one time, as the Kesha chair, I had to walk village to village with the help of the provincial administration, the interior. I had to walk village to village to convince the husbands. You know, some of these girls were already overage. They were already 18 and above. So I had to walk to convince the husbands to release the girls, their wives, to come back to school and complete their high school education. It was not easy, but we had to do it. And even when these girls came, the husbands would also always put demands on us that when it is weekend, we have to release their wives so that they go home. These are real experiences that we went through. And so we had to talk to our teachers, our boarding masters, and everyone, so that at least we allow these girls to complete school by keeping them in school, but during the weekend, you allow the girl to go home and perform wifely duties, because she's an adult, she's married, and she has some duties to perform towards the husband. Thank God we carried on with that situation, and most of the girls who had been married, those who were pregnant, most of them managed to do the exams in different conditions, but we are happy at least they completed and will get their certificates. On the many fires that were experienced, we also had them in Mandera County, even in my school, my own school, at Miranda Secondary School in Tana, we had that experience where the boys burnt part of the dormitory. Saa 10:30 jioni, not at night, in broad daylight, because they had heard that Garissa High School had burnt theirs. So they said, Garissa has burnt their dormitory, why can't we also burn our school? So the boys' dormitory was partly burnt, and we had to take the students home. When they came back, we did some investigation, and one of the things that has really disturbed me is that the real cause of this fire was drug abuse. All those learners who were identified as suspects, when we investigated, we discovered that there were very, very serious drug addicts, yes. And when we went further to interrogate when they started taking drugs, we discovered most of them said they started taking drugs when they were in class 6. So that gave us some other ideas that we may be dealing with drug problems in high school, but the real problem begins right in primary school. These guys are already addicts right from class 6. By the time they come to our schools, they are seasoned drug takers. However, we have managed to intervene in so many ways, and we are moving on. Because of time, I want to end at that and encourage you that in case you find a letter, I met a friend, he told me he had been posted to Mandera Secondary School but declined. I'm now encouraging the rest of us that Tana River School is Tana River County is a land of opportunity, and it is a giant that is waking up very fast, and very soon I'm sure you will not hear of Tana River County the way you have been hearing about it, but you will hear of Tana River County as a county that is developing very fast education-wise. Thank you for listening to me, and may God bless you.
Thank you so much for that sharing of experience. I now wish to invite another speaker whose name is Ali Hassan Ali. He is the chairman, Kesha, Mandera County. He is also the regional chairperson, Northeastern Province. He is the principal, Buruburu Boys Day Secondary School in Mandera. He tells me that he is married to one wife and he has a good number of children. Can we clap for our speaker as he comes to talk to us?
Thank you, Madam. And colleagues, good morning. She has mentioned I am married to one wife, one dear wife, of course. And in our culture, we are supposed to be having 4. There's a reason as to why I'm married to one. So she is very dear to me, and I have a good number of children. I don't want to mention the number, because when we are married, our marriages are mostly very expensive, and after the marriage, the lady must return back by giving us that good number of children. Thank you, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And mine is to share the experiences and that we have in northern Kenya, northeastern, the 3 counties, Mandera, Wajir, and Garissa together. We are a unique region, and I want the principals to listen to me kindly. And I will not take long. We are very unique, and if you know where Northeastern is, my school has been mentioned. It's called Buruburu Boys Day Secondary School. There is no secondary school, Kenya secondary school, beyond that school. At the corner, border point 1, if you have seen on the point where border point 1 is, the Kenya map, that is the last secondary school in Kenya at that point. So even the distance from the capital itself is unique. So, and our first unique problem is teacher shortage. And this has been there even before, even when I was in school. As I stand in front of you, when I was schooling in Mandera Secondary School, the term biology, the definition of the term biology, my first teacher who defined the term biology for me as a student at Mandera Boys did that in Form 3 third term. When I was in Form 3 third term. And I am not cheating. I am saying the truth. And that teacher that day asked a question in our class. And the question, she was a madam, and she asked, what are you made of? As human beings, she was asking, what are you made of? No, this is our first biology lesson. No, we are trying, what are we made of? Now some of us try to talk about the meeting of the parents, Nini, the pregnancy, you know. Kumbe madam was looking for only one word, maybe cells. You know, cell, the body cells. So, but as I stand in front of you today, all through those problems, I am a principal of one of the biggest schools in Mandera County. And I am the Kesha chairman, the region Kesha chairman. And so those are the struggles that we make. But it became worse in 2014 when our teachers were killed by a terror group. And this terror group don't select. They even kill the Muslim locals. They kill the chiefs. If you work with the government, you are an enemy. But our education system has been affected by this terror group from 2014. You will find a school, a secondary school, that is a double stream, and the only TSC teacher is the principal. I'm telling you. We have our two national schools, for example, in Mandera, and the other part of the region is the same. They are no different. In Mandera Secondary School, this is a 7-stream school. In fact, 8. This year they will go to 8 stream. This school has 25 BOM teachers. And the parents are not paying for the BOM teachers. I don't know where the principal is getting the money to pay those teachers. And the list is earning 30,000 shillings per month. But as a region, we celebrate devolution. Devolution has done a lot for us. For example, in 2015, when all our teachers were withdrawn, although education is not devolved, our county governments came in and they sponsored students who qualify to be teachers for 4 years in universities, 3 years in diploma colleges, in 2 years in primary teachers colleges. And today, as we speak today, 80% of our teaching force are locals. So we clap for devolution. And may God bless the person who thought of devolution in Kenya. Because, in fact, my firstborn is 18 years old. And the first tarmac road he saw was after 2013. Tarmac road. Even myself, when I joined Kagumu Teachers College, my first news that I watched from TV was 2018 January when I joined Kagumu Teachers College. Can you imagine? Those are the experiences, the difficulties that which we work. Then the other challenge that also we celebrate devolution. Before I forget, for one, after the teachers were withdrawn, our county government, our governors thought of having now the teachers' colleges in our counties. Today, in the 3 counties, we have our primary teachers' colleges. And the first lots have graduated and they are being employed, all of them. And we thank devolution. The other one is, okay, you don't have teachers, what do? You are to employ BOM teachers. This is another worse scenario. For example, you want to employ a physics BOM teacher. And the TSC rule is you cannot allow somebody who is not registered in class, even getting a trained teacher, to employ him or her as a BOM teacher is a problem. You will not get one. In our region, if you graduate today, tomorrow there is a form which is ready for employment. So you will not get somebody who is ready to work as a BOM teacher. So what do we do as a region? We go our way. You know, rules are not the Quran or the Bible. It can be changed. We change to suit ourselves so that we survive. Because if we say we'll follow these rules, we will not survive. Imagine with all those difficulties, last year, 61% of Mandera Secondary School students have joined universities. They had C+ and above. I'm only mentioning Mandera Secondary School because it is the biggest school. The rest are also the same. So what we do is we employ Form 4 graduates who had C+ and above. And we force them. You know, the condition for employing them is for them to join teachers' colleges and universities and pursue teaching. We employ them on a whole-day basis, and during the term they teach. And they earn salaries, and this helps them to even pay the fees in the universities. And after they graduate, they don't even tarmac for one day. I'm telling you. Yes, there is ready market for employment. Then we have also the few teachers who are there, and even the principals who are there. Sometimes we have also our problems, like we have principals and deputies, chairman, vice chairman. We have principals and deputies who are on acting capacity. This person has been given a letter to act as a head teacher or a deputy, and has no benefits. He has no benefits. That being a deputy or a head teacher is not giving him anything. He is in C1 or C2, while the other principals are in D3, D4, D5. We have also such challenges, so we get discouraged. And that's why people don't want to be teachers in that area. Because they find, even when you are looking for a lady to marry, unaulizwa wewe ni mwalimu. Sasa mwalimu. So we are being undermined because of the conditions, how we are seen, and the conditions we work. And again, this is a national issue. It's not only with the region. These are day school principals who is stagnant at D3 or even C4. So we are principals, like the principal of Alliance Boys, the principals of, we are no better. They are no better because all of us are heading schools. So for me to head a school, a day school, is not by mistake. It is the government, it's TSC that deployed me to that school. So I should not be punished. I should not be punished for that. Because I am not the one who took myself to that school. I was deployed. And I can be a head teacher at even the biggest school in this country. And I produce results. Then the other issue is poverty. Poverty is one problem in our area. That leads to poor payment of fees by the parents. We survive on maybe the bursaries from the county government, bursaries from the CDF and ETC. Severe droughts, as we speak today, our animals are dying. There is severe drought, I'm telling you. We don't know how we will ask parents to pay fees come 25th when we will open schools. You cannot even have that heart to ask a parent who had 100 camels and he has only 2 or 3 remaining today. Al-Shabaab issue, I've talked about it. Then we have this challenge of uneducated parents. Parents who don't understand the benefits of education because they have never been in school themselves. And that is majority of our population. Then it becomes now the principal is the parent, the principal is the teacher, the principal is the principal of the school. So you play all the roles. That is in the northern region. Then, to make the matter more worse, because our political team want to retain their seats, they open a school after every other year. These are political schools, so that this community have a secondary school and he wants to get votes from them. So the few resources that we have teachers are even now divided among these political schools. So this is also another, I don't know whether the government can come up with a policy of opening new schools in our region. No, I'm not talking about the other parts of the country. Then if you talk about student unrest, I want this team, this hall, to clap for Northeastern. We have few, minimal student unrest. When the schools were banned this year, when the schools were banning, we had only 2 cases in the whole of the region. 2 cases. And we were wondering how it happened. How it happened. So the way Mwalimu has said, the Miranda High School principal, 99% of our students are disciplined. And I don't know what we can do about these duress. You know, students, when they are under drugs, you know, a normal student cannot ban a dormitory. Normal students who came to school to learn, why don't they ban even the classes? Why dormitory in the first case? Why only the dormitory? We have never heard of students ban even the classes. So, and we had a few unrest, 2 cases. And how we handle this is, of course, in the other parts are also there. We have religious leaders in our schools. In the students' council, we have also among the teachers, those who carry out that guidance and counseling. Because we don't have guidance and counseling officers in schools, we use these religious leaders to talk to students all the times. There is also this problem of students who register and disappear. It is also there with us. Use of mobile phones. I don't know what we'll come up with. So those are the few challenges I wanted to share with you. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana, and welcome to Mandera, Wajir, and Garissa.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hassan. I want to believe that we are getting something from the speakers that can help us in our stations. And this marks the end of the sharing of experiences. And I now wish to invite the Vice Chair to give us directions. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Now, colleagues, like our session chair has said, we now have come to the end of this session. We know we had agreed 8 of them share, but because of time, like I said earlier, we have done it that way. We want to appreciate what they have shared. And I want to say the importance of this session, how important it is. You know, we want to see people share what we go through as principal. So when we have colleagues share like that, we learn something out of that. And that is why we have always wanted to have the same in our program. So I want to believe that from that sharing, you are leaving this hall today, at least you have learned something, you have known what is happening in some of our colleagues. So thank you very much. The brother from Mandera, we have taken note of the same, and we shall make a follow-up. Now, colleagues, we need now to go to our second session, and this is our sponsor, the main sponsor, KCB. Where is KCB? Welcome, brother and the sister. Now, this is your session, and share with us what you have for us today. Now, KCB, as you are aware, for the last two years have been our main sponsor, and we really appreciate that effort. We are here mainly and partly because of them, that sponsorship, and that's why we have always to appreciate them and give them an opportunity to share with us. So karibu, brother, and continue from there.
Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. So my name is Albert Kagwa from KCB Bank, the regional sales manager, Coast Region. Our Coast Region comprises of the former Coast Province, with an addition of Makindu, Kibwezi, and Mtito. So I'll be taking you through the next session. When you look at the timetable, you'll see KCB presenters in all the days that we are here. The way we have structured it, we have said we do it different, and so I'll be starting off where we are now looking at the individual. The individual here, it is you, our principals. So what do we have to offer? Mostly, once we move around, many are the times when we are seen, and the main thing that comes on board is loans. Loans, loans, loans. So what do we have to offer for our principals under the loans provisions? We have check-off loans. These are unsecured personal loans for teachers. And what are the features and benefits? One, our loans, the minimum you can be able to get, this is a check-off loan, is a minimum of 20,000 and a maximum of 6 million. What is the repayment period? 6 months to 96 months. The interest rates that we give to teachers, it is 13%, but to our principals, the CEOs of our schools who are here, we are giving you at a less rate of 12%. We have a negotiation fee of 2.5. I know all banks have this. It's called administration facility fees. Ours is 2.5. We have a risk margin to ensure all your loans are insured. In case anything happens to you, we don't follow up with your family to pay. The rate is at 0.54. Then the mode of calculation, we use up to 2/3 of your basic, meaning as per law, you remain with 1/3 of your basic pay. Why KCB check-off loans? One, our secured loans do not require guarantors. We will not ask you to come with guarantors when you want to take a facility with us. All you need is your pay slip. We have a simple and fast processing of 3 days. Our loan interest is on reducing balance. Then, as I said, we have a pre-initial rate of 12% for our teachers, and the term for TSC, it is 96 months. You may find other organizations where we are giving at 84, but purely for TSC at 96 months. Then also for individuals, what do we have? We have salary advance on mobile. What we have done is that we have said, let's give decency to borrowing. Many of the times you'll agree with me, when you walk to our KCB branches, you normally see a tag there, salary advance. And let's assume it's next week, you are coming to fill a salary advance. Watu wanakuangalia wanajua, huyu alikuwa Mombasa, pesa ilitumika. But they don't realize maybe it's fuel which has increased and you need some little bit. So we have made a salary advance on mobile where you can be able to get it for a period of 1 month to 6 months. The amount is 1.5 of the net. That is what you get in terms of a salary advance. The minimum amount is 3,000 and the maximum 100,000. The TAT, since it's real time, as we have said, it's digital, so you apply over the phone and immediately you get your salary advance. Then we also have KCB accounts. We have an account that we say pay as you go. And I know, even bringing this topic here, for the longest time, white smoke gani ilikuwa inachelewa? White smoke gani ilikuwa inachelewa? Nasikia hapa inasemekana vizuri KCB. For the longest time, you used to get our salary delaying. But currently, on 23rd, 24th, I believe we are among the first banks to credit your account and at a very low processing fee. Then you'll be connected if your salary account is with KCB to mobile banking. Then we have something we call early salary payment. When there are delays from TSC, currently KCB we have the TSC main account. So what it means, sometimes for KCB account holders, we actually credit your accounts even before seeing the money from TSC. Then you're able to be served from any of our branch. We have 200 branches in Kenya. You're also able to be served within the 7 countries that we are in East Africa. Then you get personalized relations. What we said is that for the CEOs of our schools, many of the times you come to a banking hall, kumeja, sindio? Then you are made to queue. What we have said, kindly, you can use the Biashara Club counters, which is the express service, and where we do not have a Biashara Club counter, you can and you will be served at the branch manager's desk. So we urge you, usikuje uone laini mrefu, useme KCB iko hivi. Please, you get preferential treatment when you come to a banking hall. Then in terms of accounts, we also have something called a goal account. When you look at the booklets that you are given, on the first page we have that goal account. How does it operate? It's an account purely for saving. What we say is serious savers. We have a competitive rate interest of 7%. The minimum amount to open a goal account is 5,000, and there is no maximum. The difference being you're able to save little by little. Then in terms of the products that we also have, we have mortgage products. I was seated there hearing a place where you are given acres of land. We have mortgage products for your use. And under the mortgage products, we have plot purchase. You have seen a plot you want, we purchase for you. We do that. Plot and construction. You have identified the plot. You also want KCB to build for you. We do that. We also do purchase of ready-built residential and commercial properties. We have developments for classrooms and labs. This caters for the schools. I believe on Wednesday we'll have a more session looking at the mortgage for schools. We have construction where you have land you want we build for you. We can be able to take over existing mortgage from other institutions. You have a mortgage facility, you have identified their rate is on a flat rate, and you are seeing it's quite expensive. We can be able to take over the mortgage from that institution, and it comes to KCB. Why? Our interest on mortgage is on a reducing balance. Then we also have Mortgage Plus. If you have an existing mortgage, we can give you a top-up for you to do other purposes and constructions. What are the features? As I said, our interest rate for mortgages is at 13%. The term, 10 years, if the source of repayment is business. If you're operating a business, what we say, uko na saida sole yako. We give you up to 10 years to repay. And 20 years, if your source of repayment is from your salary, you still have 20 years to retire, we'll give you. Or if you are receiving rental income. What do I mean? You have units that people are paying. I normally encourage, do not pick cash from your tenants. Ask them, please, chelewa, but credit into an account, ya KCB. Why? We consider the credits as an ability for you, what we call rental income. Then what is the loan ratio? We give you 70% for purchase, 80% for purchase and construction. What it means is that if you are doing purchase only, you contribute 30%. If you are doing purchase and construction, you contribute 20%. What are the maximum loan amounts? It's purely pegged on ability. So we do not have a cutoff for the loan facility you can get under mortgage. The security, It's the legal charge of the property. Then we have early repayment. You bought a piece of land, we have built for you. You have gotten additional funds. You want to pay off the loan. We allow you at no additional charges. So there is no early penalty charged. Why a mortgage? One, you have security, peace of mind. Two, the long-term repayments make it easier for you to get the loan. Three, it's a source of motivation and retention. Because one, you're looking at this asset that you are gaining. Two, you also have capital appreciation. You'll all agree with me, prices of land, prices of houses, year on year, continue increasing. Then fifth, you're able to take advantage of tax incentives. If you have a mortgage, you can be able to get a discount on the tax that you are being charged. This is looked at in terms of the owner-occupier, where the tax you are paying, it's reduced when you have a mortgage facility. Then lastly, you're able to save on rent. Who qualifies for a mortgage? Salaried individuals, self-employed, investment groups. If you are in a group, a chama within your school, within your region, and you are looking at how can we develop, we also give mortgages for groups. Lastly, I may not be able to touch on all the product offerings that we have, but I want to welcome you guys. We have a tent right outside where you'll be able to get this and more information on the products that we have. Then lastly, for me, it's a call. If you have within your school teachers, wenye saa zingine tunasema payslip iko wapi? ICU. You see this teacher in terms of them coming kwa shule, there's a challenge. When you investigate, wameingia kwa zingine tunasema loan in 24 hours. Some wanashindwa how they'll get out of there. What we do, we offer financial management clinics. You invite us to your school, we're able to talk to your teachers. Not necessarily when they see the bank, they see a loan. They can be able also to save and get the properties that they have. Then lastly is the subordinates within your schools. I've said if you have houses that you're getting rental income, don't allow to get that cash. The same applies if you have subordinates. Some of them have stayed with you in the school for quite a long time. You pay them via cash. Kindly invite us, we'll be able to engage so that we can be able to open salary accounts for them quite cheaply, no monthly maintenance, and what you do is that you give them an opportunity for them to grow. So I take this opportunity to thank you once again and do wish you a wonderful session as you continue with the week. As I said, I'm Albert Kagwa, the Regional Sales Manager. Thank you.
Now Mr. Michael through KCB tells us, colleagues, there's a lot of money there. They have a lot of money for us. We all need to organize ourselves at an individual level, at the school, and go for it. So a clap for him, please. Let's give a clap. Thank you so much for that message, KCB through Michael. Now, colleagues, we want to go to the next session, and this involves our unions. So I want to request the chair of this session, the Chair Bungoma, to come and chair that session. Karibu, brother.
Our National Vice Chair, Kesha, the leadership of our unions, all the delegates, good afternoon. My name is Bikala Stuma, the Kesha chairman, Bungoma and Western Region. And I have the pleasure of chairing this session that involves our union leaders. That is, to be specific, NAT and Kewota on what we call fraternal greetings, so that they can say one or two things that we need to know. Kesha always partners with our unions and Kewota, and that's why they are here. So to start with, I'll start with the NAT, where we have our brother Collins Oyo, who is the Secretary General, Kenya National Union of Teachers. After serving for a long time, is the chairman in that union. He was elected the NAT Secretary General. Something about him is that he's married. Actually, it tells me he's polygamous. In African society, we don't count wives. So he's polygamous. Just know he's polygamous. And he's very happy about that. And he has a number of children, whom we again cannot count. In African society, you simply have children. And he is actually the 7th Secretary General of NAT. He has risen over the ranks, and he has been in NAT. Actually, he has an experience spanning 30 years in union issues, and therefore he has a lot of experience, and is very passionate about teacher issues, and especially about their welfare. Something unique about him is that he's a very humble person, and he's an easy person to talk to. And that is something that I've experienced myself a few moments ago. So without much ado, allow me to call upon our brother. As he comes, let's put our hands together to welcome him to speak to us. It will take only about 20 minutes. I know sugar issues because of time, but I'm sure they will be fast enough. Let's put our hands together. Asante sana, karibu sana ndugu.
Thank you very much, National Chairman, in the position of the Deputy. The National Chairman, Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association, members of the Governing Council, all Kesha members who I believe are teachers and members of this very noble profession, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon, principals. Good afternoon, principals. Ladies and gentlemen, before I proceed with very few comments, allow me to introduce my chairman of this region, Kenya National Union of Teachers, Coast Region Chairman, David Mulei. You can wave. Thank you, David. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm aware that this conference was supposed to be here sometimes early April, but due to very important national exercises, namely management of Kenya secondary schools, examinations, and marking of the same examinations, it has to be pushed ahead. I wish, therefore, to begin by thanking you very sincerely for managing the 2021 KCSE examinations with the highest standards at the time when school unrest had been experienced in most of our schools, and we all know this was owing to the pressure of having compressed the education calendar within an extremely short period of time occasioned by COVID-19. This cannot be taken for granted, ladies and gentlemen. I know, much as you do, that teachers have been trained to be creative and innovative, especially at times when other professions would actually just find excuses and try to look for relevance. Allow me, in this respect, to say pole to all our colleagues who might have passed their lives through COVID-19, and even families who suffer the loss of the very loved ones during this time. May the Almighty God rest their souls in eternal peace. National Chairman, I'm aware that the management of 2021 KCSE, even before the release of the results, may have minimal cases of irregularities. I wish to encourage, and especially principals, to keep to this spirit of total high integrity when participating and conducting such sensitive and life-defining national exercise, which to our youth is actually their future. Consequently, Chairman, cognizant of the fact that most of us, as principals of respected secondary schools countrywide, are examiners and markers in various subject areas, allow me to thank you for the exercise you concluded just in the ending week. It is a true picture of patriotism to both our profession and our country. How I wish and believe that in the nearest future we shall be able to sit with the relevant stakeholders and hear especially the Kenya National Examination Council Chief Executive to discuss the modalities of improving on the remuneration package for our principals, because it is known to everybody that principals and even head teachers back there in primary schools bear the workload of managing national exams. It must also be noted, Chairman, that this year is not an ordinary year. Remember, KCSE and KCPE of both 2021 and 2022 academic years. And to add on top of that, we have the first ever CBC finalist class this year. This means that we have our workload quite heavy on both teachers and ourselves as principals. We must therefore brace for these tasks ahead of us, also given the fact that it is also the year that this country is getting into general elections. We must, and I want to repeat, we must be steadfast and focus and ensure that we have energies to handle the tasks. The employer on the other side and the Ministry of Education and any other stakeholders in the sector must offer teachers the necessary support to facilitate the entire process. As your teacher leaders, and more so in the union, we shall do all within our reach to ensure that the working environment is so enabling, conducive and most motivating. I've mentioned about the workload. I want to cite here that the National Education Union of the UK, a conference that was there between 11th and 15th, just about 3 days ago, where I attended, the issue of workload is major in the teaching profession, and it featured immensely as it was being discussed. Countries in the world, including those in Africa, are coming to a realization that the balance between assigned work, what a worker can really handle within a given period of time, and the expected results are critical factors that determine performance. I want to say here that even when you're seated here as principals, and I said this in 2019, those of us who join teaching are not with the same sound mind that you came with to teaching and the same one that you have now as a principal. Most of us are sick, either diabetics or blood pressure, such that principals of today and head teachers of today, instead of consuming food as medicine, you consume medicine as food. In the morning, in the evening, I have pressure, I have diabetes. What is the reason? Serious workload on your head. And this must be addressed. It is also very sad, as it came as an outcome, it revealed that many of our teachers are moving out of the teaching profession due to heavy workload that has been occasioned by understaffing of teachers. Head teachers and principals are victims of heavy workload. And I'm saying this before Teachers Service Commission. Dr. you are here. If we are not so careful, some of us will just perish, or some will actually move to whatever they call greener pastures, while there's no greener pasture. They're only running away from the workload. Let us actually work hand in hand with the unions to address the issue of teacher shortage. It is therefore our responsibility as principals to join hands with teacher unions, and especially Kenya National Union of Teachers, to ensure that we push for this discussion with the employer and the government, because it is all about talking. Let us address the issue of understaffing properly and conclusively, or else most of us shall be in for a rude shock. Governments must also appreciate that teachers do a lot of work, and most of the principals, and let us have the government appropriate enough resources to support employment of enough teachers in this republic to teach in our schools. It was strongly recommended in this Congress in the UK that all unions all over the world must work together to realize the fact that the area of workload is properly addressed. National Chairman, Article 4 of the Kenyan Constitution promulgated 2010, Sub-Article 41(2)(a) to D, allows that members of any profession can form, join and participate in matters of trade unions of their choice. And teachers are part of the professionals in this country. It means, therefore, that although we are principals of secondary schools, we have an express right protected with the constitutional provision to join any union of your choice, up to and including Kenya National Union of Teachers. You are aware, our second national women rep was a deputy principal in a school in Laikipia. We get along very well, and she represents teachers all round, not necessarily primary school teachers, because of course she's a secondary school teacher. Now, we also have a number of NECs in our leadership, and this is a clear manifestation of the fact that whether you are primary, whether you are secondary, as in the Constitution, you can join a union of your choice. I wish therefore to thank you for the support you have continued to give Kenya National Union of Teachers through the struggle to continue improving livelihoods of our beloved members of this noble profession. Ladies and gentlemen, dear heads, we are here at a time when the government is keen on ensuring that there is 100% transition of learners from primary to secondary schools against the outstretched school infrastructure, especially in our secondary school section, and the understaffing of teachers of an alarming rate, which is now estimated at over 100,000. Most of the buildings, all classrooms, to enable all learners to have enough classes and an enabled learning environment is quite a challenge. Education can only be qualitative if the learning environment and teachers to teach in those schools are adequate, well-trained, and well-remunerated. It is only through this that Kenya as a country can achieve the Sustainable Development Goal number 4 established by the United Nations in September 2015, which is aimed at ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. I must now call upon all of us to channel our energies towards ensuring that education is both inclusive and equitable and qualitative. We are aware that the new education curriculum in Kenya has proposed restructuring of education system where junior secondary, grade 7, 8, and 9 has been mildly proposed to be domiciled in secondary section. We've been asking this question as Kenya National Union of Teachers. Where do we want to place the other two classrooms that will remain vacant in the primary schools, class 7 and class 8, and move ahead to construct 2 more classrooms in secondary schools, which of course, and I will not mince my word to say, it is a total waste of resources. Let us use the available grade 7, grade 8, and have the 2 classes domiciled in primary schools. If we have to attain 100% transition, even from grade 6 to grade 7 to grade 8, and as we proceed to grade 9. The TPD programs were rolled out last year, 2021, and you saw us being accused of maybe coming up with this program. This program was not for the unions. This program was for teachers, and you remember too well that we mentioned to Teachers Service Commission to consider the issue of course of this program and the training modules and even the number of years that was to be spent in this program. This was after a public outcry, and we heard from you teachers, especially principals, and you saw how tight it was to the pockets of the teachers. This has been under review, I want to believe, because Teachers Service Commission has so far listened. We have a commission, as we speak now, that can talk to unions. And we want to push every other time. Any other thing that does not augur well with the teaching profession must be talked about, and TSC, if indeed we are for the progress of education as a sector, let us actually sit and listen. I want to appeal to this government, basically on capitation to learners in our secondary schools. It has not been improved at all, despite the fact that inflation is biting day by day. where do you want to place these principles when there is inflation and capitation? If anything is done, then it can actually be considered as a drop in the ocean. The Ministry of Education, therefore, should come out and actually sit with the principals with the experience that the principals have in this republic, and see to it that a lot should be done in capitation as we speak today. Programs in schools may not only be restricted to tuition responsibilities. So when we talk of capitation and we only look at tuition, I don't think we are cheating ourselves. We are actually cheating ourselves, and this must actually be seen to be addressed by the principals themselves through their leadership and the unions. We have so many programs that can help improve the quality of delivery of education. And that is known to all of us as those who have actually gone through the process of education. As Kenya National Union of Teachers, we wish to very strongly propose to the Ministry of Education the skyrocketing of expenditure as we sit even in our homes. This should be known by the ministry, and they should address the issue of capitation without blinking. We have insisted as Kenya National Union of Teachers, and this is known to all, that the policy of promotions to administrative positions actually be devolved to counties, because we feel the counties have a better say. This is because as we interact with the qualifications of various teachers at the TSC headquarters, we might not actually know what is on the ground and has actually been seen by the principals of institutions. The best person to recommend based on actual performance of a teacher is none other than the principal of an institution. We want to call upon Teacher Service Commission to think about this and also give principals an upper hand in actually qualifying those who should be promoted to senior grades and even positions. Ladies and gentlemen, we note with utmost appreciation that the Form 1 selections was conducted and finalized. The placement of some of these Form 1s might not be acceptable to some, but I tend to feel that this is the best that could be done. If parents have issues, I think let us advise them as principals to have their issues channeled through the right procedure. Because even as we talk of sponsorship, we are aware that the government cannot sponsor all that they would wish to sponsor because of constraints financially. Let us speak out as principals to these parents who would actually wish to have their learners in our institutions. They are unable to pay for it. They have not gotten the scholarship and sponsorship. Let us address them as our own to have those learners really achieve what is expected of them. We are certain that parents will now be able to plan and plan well and in time to ensure that all the learners report to schools they were admitted to. And I mentioned one time, 100% transition should actually first be in the hands of parents, not even the CS, who will run around to look for learners to take to Form 1. It is the parents to come out and say, I'm unable. What can be done to me? And then principles and in fact of respect and honor, like all of you seated here today, will be able to advise those parents accordingly. We are looking forward to have a huge numbers of learners in our schools at the beginning of 2022 calendar. I wish all principals well as they commence the new calendar of education. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, this is an electioneering period, 2022 for national elections. As teachers, we have a voice that is loud enough to speak what we stand for and what we can change in the lives of the general public. We must, and I must say we must, without engaging much, but tactfully, we must have the right persons in the leadership to make the right choices that will improve the lives of Kenyans, but also improve the learnings of learners in this republic, and even the earnings of teachers in this republic. We must pick those who will make the teachers' environment workable, very conducive, safe and productive, and also ensure that education is equitable, accessible, and affordable to all. We must stand out to be counted. Colleagues, on 9th of August 2022, teachers of this republic must stand out to be counted. Thank you so much for listening to me. I'm Colin Soyu, the Secretary General, Kenya National Union of Teachers. Asanteni.
Let's put our hands together again. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Colin Soyu, for speaking candidly about issues that affect teachers. As I told you earlier, he's a person who is passionate about issues of welfare for the teachers of this nation, and therefore you have seen it come out very well on issues that affect our schools, ranging from understaffing, poor working conditions, and all that. And therefore, again, I'll ask that we put our hands together to clap for him. 1, 2, 3. Asante sana, Brother Collins. Because of time, allow me to move very fast and introduce the next speaker, who is nobody else other than our sister, the Chief Executive Kewota, which is means the Kenya Women Teachers Association, and her name is Miss Benda Opande. She is married with 5 adult children, and 2 of them are working. She has a long experience as a teacher, science teacher of chemistry, biology. Her last school being Buruburu Girls. Kewote was formed early in 2007. However, it became active from the year 2018. And this great lady, Ms. Benda Opande, is the chief executive. So we put our hands together as we welcome her. She comes to talk to us. Makofi. Karibu sana. Welcome, so that you talk to us and tell us exactly what are the objectives of Kewota, and so that also we are able to know exactly what Kewota stands for, what are the benefits. Karibu sana, our sister.
The National Chairman of Kenya Secondary School Principals Association, all our brothers from the diaspora, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. As you have been told, my name is Benta. I am the Chief Executive Officer of KEWOTA. KEWOTA stands for Kenya Women Teachers Association. And that is a platform that many people have had misconceptions about. And I wish I could have all the women principals in the house so that they would become ambassadors for this organization. Because information is power, and many people misconstrue things and make wrong decisions. So I want to take a very short time because I'm not a politician, I'm more of a technical person, and I am waiting for a presentation which is supposed to appear on the screen, which will take exactly 10 minutes. I will make it worth your time. So I want to say, as I wait for the presentation, that I am so honored to be part of this great event, hosted by our partner, who is also an association like us. Our organization, as you are told, was registered in 2007. At that particular time, I was the Assistant National Treasurer of KUPPET, where I was the only woman at the national office for 10 years. I stayed in KUPPET as Assistant National Treasurer for 11 years. But in 2007, because when you're Assistant National Treasurer, there's very little you can do. So I used to do a lot of research on the internet, looking for funders to come and try and bring women together. Because women teachers feared to join trade unions. So after around 70 applications, I eventually got one individual who was interested from Netherlands called SNV. And they came in March, trained several women. They wanted actually 38 women teachers, but I could get only 13. And by the end of the 3 days, I had only 6 left. And it is these 6 who actually decided to form this organization. In 2007, October 25th, KEWOTA was registered as an association. I wish the presentation was ready so that they see our certificate. I don't know what has gone wrong. Is it on? Okay. I cannot see it myself. Just a minute, please. Am I able to see it here? So how will I know where you are? No, I have the presentation. Yes. Okay. Thank you. So I'm not sure which page you are in, but if it is the first slide, it shows you what KEWOTA is. And just a minute, they cannot do it for me, so I'll do it with my phone. Our slogan is "My Sister's Keeper." From the history that I've given you, you must know that I have a lot of experience in the teaching fraternity. I am not young. So in the national office of KUPPET, I was the only woman. But by the time I was leaving that organization, the constitution had been engendered. And that is why KUPPET now has one woman from every county. That was my work. We also created the position of Secretary Gender, which is now occupied by Madam Catherine Wambilianga. So at that point, the constitution changed and I moved to a place where I could make decisions. And so I decided to vie for the position of Executive Secretary Nairobi branch, where I stood with men. And because of the policies I had and the dream that I was giving the teachers, at that point, they elected me as the Executive Secretary in Nairobi, KUPPET. Then eventually, within 8 months, I created a system that made sure teachers, secondary teachers left NAT and came to KUPPET, and Sosion was at my door. And he came and told me, please, madam, come and help us recruit secondary school teachers. That is how I got into NAT. And I moved in with more than 1,000 teachers that day. So I have had an experience and relationship with all our unions. And I know the good work that they do. And it is from that that we realize the gap. And that gap is where we are now. Page 1 of that representation shows you what KEWOTA stands for. And my goodness. Are we ready? You know, I can't see what you're seeing, so I'm waiting for them to show me. It is showing. I don't know what it is. Mission and vision. Okay, I'll start from there. So I'll be saying next, next. Okay. So our mission and vision, as you have seen there, is to create an institution or an institutionalized process where women teachers can bring their problems. A perfect example, when I was teaching in Parklands Boys, and that time the minister had banned that teachers should not leave lab assistants with students in the chemistry lab. I got my monthly visits, and I was not aware. I went to the washroom, and Mr. Barongo, may God rest his soul, came and found my class had no teacher. And I was actually interdicted for a natural process. There was nowhere else I would have gone. I went through that process. So that is only one of the issues. But women teachers have a load of issues that we realize every day. So our mission actually is to create just that. And the next slide should be showing you our certificate, if I'm not wrong. There is a certificate there, a blue certificate. Can somebody show it, please? It has come. Yes. Please, ladies and gentlemen, look at that certificate. That certificate clearly shows that KEWOTA was registered in 2005 and 7. At that time, Nancy Macharia was a teacher in class, and Uhuru Kenyatta was not the president. And we are an association, not a union. So please, today, become our ambassadors. We are not a project of the government. We are not. We created ourselves to solve our own problems. So I want to show that it is true, we exist. Currently, we are speaking of a membership of about 50,000. And the next slide, I believe, should be showing you something to do with what we do. Now, how does Kenya Women Teachers Association operate? We have leaders from early childhood to the university. We even have a space for principals. One of them to join us at the national office, and one of them to be at every county that we are present. But nobody has ever given a chance to explain to them. So principals don't understand. Female principals wonder, what is this thing? I'm a woman, I'm a teacher, I don't know. So that is how we operate. We are different from unions. And we cannot call you on a strike. Mission and vision I've shown you now. Let us go to KEWOTA agendas. I hope that's where we are. Listen to these agendas so that you know that what my brother and senior SG Collins has talked about does not conflict with what we do. Number 1, we do financial empowerment. I will show you through pictures how we do it. And we are trying to remove teachers from the online sharks, from loans, because every time there's a salary increment, a teacher just looks at, has my ability gone up, so that they get a loan which they have not planned. So we have small ways of trying to solve this problem. Investment opportunities, we are providing investment opportunities for our members because we are members of KEPSA, Kenya Private Sector Alliance, and I sit on the education board, and that is where if there's any opportunity, we invite our members. You will see in a picture when we had an exhibition at Kenya, at the KICC, where teachers came with their wares. And there's a teacher from Moranga who had been creating or manufacturing some oils, We didn't know what to do. And luckily, opposite us, there was KBS, Kenya Bureau of Standards. We introduced them. Those products are now in the market and in the supermarkets. So these are the kind of things we do. If you are a teacher and you're an entrepreneur and you are a woman, or even men, you can approach us. We shall support you. And we open investment training and investment opportunities for you. The third one, as you can see, because I said I'm not going to take long, is development projects. We have supported women teachers who have now registered their companies, and we are connecting them with county governments. They can now do roads. They don't have the machines, but they compete competitively, and they hand over the project to somebody who can do the job, and they get their commission back. And their lives are changing, and they're running away from online sharks. Mentorship and sponsorship. We have developed a project called SEMA Project. The SEMA Project, it means Sexuality Education and Mentorship for Adolescents. We are launching it in July during the World Population Day, working together with the Ministry of Health, where we are hoping that every holiday we shall be asking parents to bring their teenagers to our training institutions so that we teach them skills of life and we avoid early pregnancies and everything that comes with it. Then we have decent and dignified exit from service. We ask our members, if you are about to retire, please share your documents with us so that when you're walking out of Teacher Service Commission, you will walk away with your check, because we'll do it for you. A very good example is a teacher from Kwale, Mr. Kebas, anybody who knows him. He retired from teaching, was even an art official, and he did not get his money for almost 4 years. We intervened for him, Kebas got his money, and now Kebas has a private school. Another example is a teacher who is in Sondu. She's called Lucy. We visited her at Sondu Market, and she was living in a shopping center where you had to jump through sewage to get there. And we found she had 12 adolescent kids she was living with in a one-bedroomed house. So they were exchanging even, when you want to sit. And when you want to sleep, this is the only family I saw somebody still sent to sleep in another family. In Kijaluo, we say the laonendo. So we asked her, can we make this better? And she was a head teacher. And we built her house. You will see it in the picture there. And Lucy now is living a very happy woman. Another point, after decent and dignified exit from service, we do counseling and gender-based violence. We even take legal action. We are not lawyers, but we have got a panel of 3 lawyers who will listen to your case. If it can go to court, we pay it for you. Where do we get this money? We have a financial policy which states that every income that we get, we spend 25% on the teacher. And if we don't, the accountant does not release the money for the next month. So that's how we do it. Involvement in effective policy making, yes. We know that Parliament passed a law, 2016, that every institution should have a nursing room. It is not happening, but right now we are in talks with Teacher Service Commission. If the Ministry of Gender can create a committee that can look at this thing so that we try it even in some pilot schools. Because many teachers, women teachers, have left the service because they are getting children every year. And they can't go to school and leave their children at home. So they decide to become mothers and they start trading in Mutumba. So we are saying, why not bring a comfortable place for the woman teacher to be there? And by so doing, the quality of service that the teacher is going to give is going to be much better. It's going to improve quality of education as a whole. Then we empower the girl child in many ways. You will see a picture there of where I went to a school in Sol Nyakariro. I don't know that the principal is here. It's a secondary school. And I took them sanitary towels, somewhere in Naivasha, inside, in the bush. And the children really screamed, and they were actually saying, you mean they are original sanitary towels? I was shocked that they are even fake ones. But the thing is, that year, 4 girls did not do the exam because they could not afford sanitary towels, and because of that, they got borders to carry them to buy them the sanitary towels, and they got pregnant. 2 of them luckily got married to Boda Boda. The other 2 were rejected, and they were at home, and they became stigmatized. So even in that, in terms of policy making, we are going to ask for your support as we ask the government to zero-rate sanitary towels, because condoms are being given for free, and yet sex is a choice. But menstruation is a must. So we have a program that we are starting next month. We'll send a petition outside there so that even if they don't want to give them to us for free, let them zero-rate them so that it can be available to every child. Yes, indeed, the government has a program of doing this, but you and I know that the sanitary towels are not reaching the girls. Last week, we actually had a 2-day conference where we were also engaging on policy with CBC, and we are appreciating the role of teachers and parents in CBC. So every year we choose one policy and we run with it and see that it is successful. And then reproductive rights and maternal health, we are now working very closely with an organization which is attached to Bliss to assist women teachers who cannot get children. If you know any teacher or you are one of them, please visit our offices. In issues of FGM and child marriages, we are addressing them through the SEMA project, and we include 1/3 of men in our association. So all these things I have said that benefit women, they also benefit members who are in our association. Membership is through the TPA system. You just click, you become a member of Kewota, and you contact us as a man, and we can help you. And next month, we are having a meeting for all the male reps across the country, and we are going to address the issue of the boy child once and for all. So in the next slide, I told you I'm going to take very short. It's about that girl is from Maseno, School of the Deaf. We rescued her when she's blind. She cannot hear and she cannot talk, and she had a family member who kept raping her. She was pregnant, she was thrown out of school. So we went to look for her because she's an A student, and we brought her back to school. That is my coordinator called Florence Zuva. We have adopted the child, and we are supporting the girl. The next slide is what else does Kewota do? That is in Laikipia. We have rescued quite a number of girls there. Early marriages, rape, attack, physical attack, and so on and so forth. It is true, it is happening, so I don't have to go through the write-up. Hope for the teenage mothers is there. We don't encourage the teenage mothers the students to get pregnant. But let me tell you, though the government has the policy of asking the girls to go back to school, many of them don't go back. They are stigmatized, some of them commit suicide, and it's never covered by the press. So we are supporting a private home, which is now dealing with this. It's in Laikipia. We are having a problem because girls are now coming with their babies, and they don't want to leave. If you ask them to leave, they want to commit suicide. So we are working on it. The next slide is just to show that we are a very serious stakeholder in the education sector. We have women teachers who are very brilliant, and in our conference, we worked very closely with KICD. That was in our first meeting with Professor Ngondo, and we are ready to work with you. Why do I say that? Women teachers are the greatest grassroots change agents. My daughter, when she was in primary school, in nursery school, she was being taught by a teacher from Central Province. And they would sing the song, the song, Happy Little Children. Then my daughter would come, and as we are Luas, and she would be singing, Happy Little Children, Happy Little. So I used to cane her. And if you cane her, she goes and tells the teacher. And she'll tell me, this is what teacher said. So what am I trying to say? That what a woman teacher says or tells the student or the kid, that will stick for the rest of their lives. Why are we not using the network of women teachers to change social welfare matters? For all the partners who are here, we need to think seriously about that. I am talking about the SEMA project in the next slide. I have already told you what it is. It is alive and kicking. All the documentation is ready. We shall be inviting the stakeholders when we are launching it. And then there you can see that is Baringo. That is my deputy. She's called Charity. She is actually mentoring girls in Baringo. Now, in terms of career development, you are seeing a certificate there. I don't know whether you have reached that, called Rosemary Adongo. We have partnered with an organization called Reziel. Now, how do you, let me tell it to you like a standard 2 kid. You know, Manchester University and Harvard University have realized they can upload their courses online. And they are using a company which is identifying other companies in different countries in Africa. In Kenya, they have identified a company called Reziel. Kewata and Reziel have signed a contract of 3 years so that they can provide these soft courses to teachers. So we wanted to test whether it is true. And you know they don't pay, they use bonga points. The project is called Soma na Bonga. We have even copyrighted it. So we told the teachers during the COVID time, we want you to be the first ones to know what to do in a situation, in a COVID situation. And we asked all our coordinators to do the course. The course took them 20 minutes. They used bonga points worth 100 shillings, and a certificate popped out from an institution from the US which deals with infectious diseases. Those courses are very many. We have had a chance to share with the chairmanship of Kesha. And we have also involved KICD. And we are saying, instead of coming with the certificate, because the certificate of Kemi is a very powerful certificate for you to be promoted. So why not offload all these 4,000 courses in the Kemi course, and you do with the bonga points, the cost of the chemicals will go down, and your certificate will be loaded with 4,000 courses which start from leadership, mentorship, financial knowledge, and so on and so forth. If you are interested, you'll visit our website and you will see them. They also have MicroMasters. And as officials, we said we cannot offload this course to teachers if we have not guinea pigged ourselves. So as for me, my children are doing 3 MicroMaster courses. A course which could have costed 2.5 million, I am paying 250 for every child. My daughter, who is a lawyer, is doing a course that is now allowing her to create policies for organizations against information espionage. So there's a lot outside there, and even in the short speech that I'll give for 5 minutes, I will show even our unions and the employer that if we are not careful, young teachers will run away from the teaching profession and will teach people online. So we have to know how to bring this on board. So that is about Soma na Bonga. We are in this program with Safaricom. Safaricom, I don't want to expose how many bonga points they have, but they have so many, they don't know what to do with it. They've given laptops, they've given phones, they can't buy their own bonga points. So we are buying the bonga points at a very cheap price. If you're a member of Kewata, we shall tell you what it is. And then I'm about to finish. There you can see the KEPSA. Oh, I was showing you something for KEPSA. You can see the girls who came to, the teachers who came to our exposition at KICC. It was a wonderful session. I'm going to the next slide. Tanks. We give out tanks to teachers, not for show, but we give them where they are really needed. We have distributed almost 15 tanks as we speak since we started in 2018. But I put that picture particularly because of the pain that is involved in it. The teacher there, who is wearing purple, was married to a fellow teacher, and their tank was leaking. So the man went to go and repair the tank. The tank burst and, crashed him against the wall of the house, and the man died. And the teacher is left as a widow, but the water is still not there. So she can't go to school. So we took the tank to her. We are also supporting her in several ways. We have given tanks in so many places. So if you are from a really hardship area as a female principal, you're a member of Kewata, you can get in touch with us. You'll find our email in our website. And you tell us how we can support your teachers not to miss class. so that we provide water. We can even build a semi-permanent house and put mabati on top and make sure that they collect the natural water that God is giving. Then the next one is just to choose one of the stakeholders we are working with. The picture may not be very clear, but that is Stanbic. And with the Stanbic, we have a program where our members can be given 250,000 shillings. They are bought for a laptop, an Android phone, and they're given the balance. And they pay this in 96 months, which means you get 250 and every month they deduct only 2,000. It is a deal only for Kewata members. If you are interested, please get in touch. I was talking about Soma Nabonga, now it's where it has come. There is me, that's the day we were launching Soma Nabonga with Safaricom. Actually, the word Soma Nabonga project, that is ours. So it is something which is going on. Oh, there is the certificate, the next slide. That is the certificate written Rosemary Adongo. I just chose it because that's the one I could get quickly. That's my sister. And now she knows how to handle herself in a COVID situation because she was trained using video and word with a course from the US. Next slide is about economic empowerment. We have money flowing all over, and we were talking with the brother Collins here and saying, there is money, but teachers can't borrow because the pay slip is in ICU as it was shown. So we have tried to bring women together to tell them, how do we help you? How do we help you? Do you know the only thing we can do now, we have decided we are running table banking programs. We have very powerful table banking programs in 38 counties, such that the highest within 1 year has an income of about 1.8 million. It doesn't only have to be for women teachers. We have male teachers who are heading, like in Kiambu, it's a male teacher who is running the table banking project. So what does table banking do? It gives you easy money, which does not give you pressure, and it is money lent by friends, and you can pay all your online loans and start living like a decent person. So table banking is there, very strong. That was in Homa Bay. The next slide. Here we are in Baringo again, celebrating sanitary towels. Yeah, sometimes when you talk about sanitary towels, some people don't understand what it does. People just say, these people that are bringing us, Atibenta was in the conference talking about sanitary towels. Yes, I must. Because a girl who cannot get sanitary towels will miss school for 5 days. 5 times 12, that's 60 days. The boy is in school. In 4 years, the girl misses 300 days, or whatever, 240 days. And that is why sometimes you see that disparity. So, it is an issue. Fine, next slide. We are building the house for Lucy. That's my national chair was there, and my treasurer. The house looks really beautiful now. If you look at it there, you can laugh. But now it looks good. Then the next slide, during the floods, people forgot about teachers, the government, I mean. And in Busia, that's in Budalangi, 200 teachers were marooned. They can see their houses there, but they can't go. There was flood everywhere. There was no food. They didn't even have sufurias. So we went there with the little that we had. We donated to them food, sufurias, vijikos, and the teachers really appreciated. Because some were marooned, a man marooned with the wife and children, and he doesn't have money. It's sad. So we reach out to teachers. Our issue is basically just welfare. I had to floss that picture there. Because here we are at KICD, that's the next slide. That one I'm just flossing to show people that we are not a briefcase. You know, people keep on saying, tulifikiri Kewata alikufa. Where hatuwezi kufa? Because there is a reason for it. There was a reason for our existence. And finally, the last slide, which I'm going to share with you, is about 2 girls in Muranga who had a hole in the heart. They come from absolute poverty, absolute. We went there and found they're still using the nyangile, I don't know what they call it in English, the small lantern. And even those 2 lanterns did not have mafuta in them. The 2 girls were to sit exams. We are not showing their pictures because we have been trained that it is not allowed. And we paid for their heart surgeries, and we paid for them NHIF for 2 years. and the girls are now in Form 3. Now, I can't present everything we do. I just wanted to give the meeting a taste of a few things that we do, that we need the support, especially of principals. And I came very early. I was hoping I would be given some time earlier, so that I request the principals to help our teachers. A lot of female teachers are getting into trouble because they don't even know the color of the TSC code. Why don't we work together and get some little money from Teacher Service Commission they must be having, and have workshops across the country to teach women teachers about the Teacher Service Code? I have 5 children, but I never went back to school until they were 6 months. I just used the code, because I would take the leave, but the leave will start the day I'm giving birth. Then, that is, our days, it was 60 working days. Then after that, I go to the code, I look for other days, I take another 14 days compassionate. And then when the compassionate is about to end, I get sick, I go to the doctor gives me leave for another 3 months. And nobody could touch me, because I was just using the code. By the way, if you look at the Teacher Service Code, if you look at it carefully, it is a document which is meant to protect you. You just need to understand what to do. Because you find a woman teacher, mtoto yenyewe ni mgonjwa. You have woken up in the morning and your son has started to convulse, epilepsy. Of course, you can't leave your son to go to school. But what they do, they text the principal, or they call the secretary. Please tell the principal that my son is convulsing. The TSC you will be interdicted, my friend. So we must teach our teachers how to do it. How do you do it? Call, write, do this, inform, and always be in touch with the agent. And you will never be touched. Me, I was actually warned only once, all my life of teaching. And I was warned because when we registered the Kenya Women Teachers Association, I came from home, it was October. When I came in December, I had no office. I had been removed by a court order because I was creating a second center of power. So I rushed to court. It took 16 months. I did not know what to do. I went back to TSC and I told TSC, I have loans with Mwalimu, I have this, and the people who give you loans are your friends. I'm defaulting. So TSC sent me to Dandora. And actually, it first sent me to a school where there's a former deputy. I don't know whether she's here. But the deputy, she knew this mentor kuna issues za welfare sana atanisumbua. She rejected me. So I went back to TSC, and I was taken to Mandera Secondary. When I went to Mandera Secondary, the first day, the lunch was so delicious. But my, oh my, the flies. They came onto the food, and I ran away from the school. Because actually my initial school was so good, Buruburu girls. So when I ran away, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to go back to TSC, interdicted me. When I went, I told them the truth about the flies. They just warned me. Told me, don't ever do it again. So basically, that is what I wanted to tell you about. I have given you a sneak preview into our organization, and I'd like some of you to be our ambassadors. There's a lot that needs to be done. We have registered an agency, an insurance agency. If you really, really support the women cause, renew your vehicles with us. You use the same insurance, but let us be your agent. You will give us a lot of support. We have registered a microfinance, where if you want quick money within 48 hours, we give you, but we only take a logbook. Or the logbook of a vehicle, because we value it. So support us. Support Kenya Women Teachers. So finally, I know that people are going. I want to go back to the conference. I want to say only 3 things. And I will not look at my speech. Number 1, digital literacy. We have now to embrace digital literacy. I know teachers who are now teaching 1 million students in 1 hour. And they are teaching them using the materials that you've given them. we must teach our teachers that they can make money online and that learning can be done through that. Secondly, let us embrace curriculum-based, competency-based curriculum. Before it, there was a system called 844, which is not bad, and we are transiting properly, but students who would do from standard 8 and fail would be declared foolish, and they would disappear. Those who did not get enough marks to go to college or university would disappear. Curriculum-based, competency-based curriculum is the equalizer. It is the equalizer. Let us all support it. It is a welfare issue. Please, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for listening to me. And although this is my first time, I must give myself Congole because I've been able to talk before very distinguished people without flattering. Thank you very much. I've been asked to share my number. You may want to write it down. 0722 402 821. 0722 402 821. Thank you very much. Please just send a text because so many teachers call. Just send a text and we shall engage. Santeni san.
A clap for her. A clap again. I know we must be tired. Thank you so much, Chief Executive, the Kenya Women Teachers Association, for the presentation. Indeed, as I told you, she is quite passionate about the empowerment of women and girl child, and you can see from her presentation, it has proved exactly that. And therefore, I'm sure we are richer. We also understand exactly what Ekewota stands for and all that. So, without much ado, may I now request our Vice Chair, who is our MC, to come and take over. Thank you so much.
Thank you, our session chair. I also want to say thank you for my brother, Oyu. We have worked with him at NAT. The lady here was my college. We were in the same college, and she would confront the lecturers, just the way she was talking here. She would even confront the lecturers and ask for her rights. And she used to be told her rights is back at home. Otherwise, I think that was a very good message from the union. And we have now come to the end of today's program. I want to take this opportunity to thank you. But before that, to party clap to kidogo hawa. Thank you. I want to thank you for the cooperation that you have accorded one another, the patience that we have had for today's program. Now that we have come to the end of today's program, I want to wish you the rest of the business of the day. We normally talk of SDA. So, having said I'm from this region, if you have a challenge in managing yourself during the SDA, please, I'm here. Just call me and I'll assist you. Otherwise, at this point in time, allow me now to request our bishop so that we can lead us in a closing prayer. Thank you.
May we stand up for a closing prayer. Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for being with us since the first session. We thank you for taking us through and giving us the resilience and the grace. Now we pray that you may be with us for the rest of the day and the days that are ahead of us. Protect us from the hand of the enemy and give us success even in all areas that we are weak in our organization and in our planning. Father, give us success and give us to prevail. Protect all the delegates and our visitors as they go to different places, and protect them from the enemy, and give us your goodness. Disperse us with your love. For this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.